It's a gorgeous day for baseball here in Blacksburg, Virginia, as we bring you midweek action as the Georgetown Hoyas come in to Blacksburg to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies here on 3304 Sports. My name is Shelton Moss. My partner is Brian Kearney with you today. Virginia Tech coming to this contest 23-17 overall, while the Hoyas are 4-13 on the season. Now, Brian, as we preview today's game, Ryan Okuda gets a start on the mound for Tech. And he has a chance to have a good game against a Georgia Tech offense that the Georgetown offense that really struggles to score.
They really have this year averaging roughly 3 runs a game, which is one of the lowest in the NCAA overall. And Okuda coming off a really good appearance last week, going almost 5 innings and giving up no runs. Has a really good chance to come in here and put up some more zeros on the board and get the Hokies a good chance to win this one.
Well, Virginia Tech over the weekend lost 2 out of 3 games to UVA, and really for the first time all season, it kind of felt like we saw Virginia Tech really struggle to generate runs. This is, of course, a team that relies on their offense, but over the weekend, there really were not a ton of runs to be had.
There really wasn't. They normally, as you said, usually their offense has been their key to winning games, and over the weekend, both Game 1 and Game 2, Game 3, in which they lost to UVA, only scoring 1 run. And as Coach John Sheff said, you're not going to win a game if you only score 1 run.
Well, we'll get you the starting lineups for both teams. First for Georgetown coming in, again, as I said, 4-13. They've only played 17 games on the season. Got off to a bit of a late start. Their first game was actually in April, and they had a few canceled due to COVID as well. First game was April 7th against VCU. So they come in having lost 5 straight contests. The lineup for the Hoyas today, they will go with A.J. Lotsis leading off and playing in left field, hitting .250 on the season. Batting in the 2 spot, it's Michael Eze, 178 hitter on the year, still searching for his first homer. He is the starter in right field. In the 3 spot, a welcomed addition to the team, Conor Nolan, the starter in center field. He is the team's best hitter with a .323 average, making his first appearance since back on April 25th. The cleanup hitter and second baseman is Ureb Martinez. Andrew Chufo bats in the 5 spot. He is the shortstop. And Christian Ficca gets a start at first base, batting in the 6 hole. The catcher working behind the plate is Tony Barreca. He will bat in the 7 spot. Hitting 8th, the designated hitter Jake Hyde. And rounding out this Georgetown starting lineup, in the 9 spot, it's Eddie McCabe playing over at the hot corner. Now, for the Hokies, who come into the contest with a record of 23-17, they are 13-10 here in the friendly confines of English Field. They're playing their 5th of 9 consecutive home games. Nick Bitterson will lead things off for the Hokies, their second baseman, hitting .262 on the year, 4 homers, 10 RBIs. Gavin Cross, the designated hitter, will get the start in that 2 spot, .385 average, third best in the ACC, 10 homers, 33 driven on the year. TJ Rumfield gets a start at first base, batting in the 3 spot. Tanner Schobel is the cleanup hitter today, getting the start at short. The center fielder, Jack Hurley, will bat 5th. Kevin Madden over at third base, he will bat 6th. Cade Swisher gets a start in right field, he will bat 7th. And hitting 8th, Tanner Thomas, getting the start in left field. And rounding out the lineup for Coach John Sheff and the Hokies, Garrick Ebel getting the start behind the plate, he will bat 9th. So those are the lineups for both teams. Again, Virginia Tech having lost 5 of their last 7 games, trying to use this midweek game to get some offense going and hopefully propel themselves into a weekend series against Toledo coming up. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. So we will be back in just a moment here after the national anthem. First pitch coming up between the Hokies and the Hoyas here on 3304 Sports. Welcome back here to English Field as Georgetown and Virginia Tech are set to do battle here in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech sporting those maroon tops with the orange numerals trimmed in white, going with the white pants, maroon socks, and the twin bell caps with white on the front, maroon on the back. Georgetown going with their traditional Georgetown blue tops. Got the silver numerals and white pants along with the blue socks and helmets. Again, Ryan Okuda gets to start on the mound for Virginia Tech on the season. Okuda, the junior, with a 2-2 record and a 5.34 ERA. He has 31 strikeouts to only 6 walks. The the umpires for today's contest at home plate, it's Brandon Henson. He will call balls and strikes. Greg Howard at first. At second base, Kevin Tweeney and Tony Carilli over at third. Pretty decent crowd on hand for midweek game. I'd say about a couple hundred so far in attendance. Certainly not what we had over the weekend against U of A, which pretty much every game was a sellout. But considering the circumstances, a good showing from the Tech faithful here in Blacksburg. Once again, we're here for 3304 Sports. My name is Shelton Moss. I am joined by my partner, Brian Kearney, ready to go here on a beautiful afternoon in Blacksburg. 64 degrees, partly cloudy, wind whipping out about 5 miles an hour to straightaway center.
Those dugout degenerates, I'm sure, will be out here today, as it is a nice day. Here to cheer on Tech as they look to get this bounce-back win.
The dimensions here at English Field, Atlantic Union Bank Park, 330 down the lines, 375 to left center and right center, and 400 feet to straightaway center. So up to the plate steps A.J. Lotsis, the left fielder for the Hoyas. And we are just about set to get things underway. Lotsis, the graduate student out of Phoenixville, Pennsylvania Episcopal Academy, steps in the box as a left-hander to face off against Ryan Okuda, a fellow lefty. First pitch from Okuda is in there, strike one called. Again, Georgetown 4-13 on the season. Here's the 0-1 from Okuda. He kicks and fires. This time it's a high strike, 0-2. Hoyas looking to snap a 5-game skid. They were swept in 4 over the weekend by Seton Hall. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Okuda just off the plate and trickles off the mitt of the catcher, Garrick Ebel, who was getting the start today in the midweek contest in favor of Dane Leonard. Started all 3 games against the Wahoos. As Okuda gets set to fire off the 1-2 pitch, again misses just off the plate. Comes in at 86 miles an hour. Lotz is a .250 hitter on the season, 1 homer, 7 RBIs. Swing and a miss on the 1-2 offering from Okuda, and he sets down Lotsis with his first strikeout on the first batter of the game.
Looking to do like what we talked about at the top of this broadcast, looking to just set Georgetown down 1-2-3 if they can and get the Hokies up, putting zeros on the board, see if they can get this win.
Up comes Michael Eze, the right fielder. Here's the first pitch, and misses low. As a freshman out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, leads the team in strikeouts with 20, as the 1-0 is down and in. Also leads the team, tied for the team lead with 4 hit by pitches. Comes in hitless in his last 5 contests. Here's a ground ball and lined into left field for a clean base hit, as the shortstop, Schobel, had no chance of that one, hit to his right. And reaching base for the first time today is a Hoya, as Michael Eze checks in with a single.
You fall behind like that, 2-0, and it sets the hitter up to know that you're probably going to throw a fastball, and if you give it to him, they have a chance to hit it hard just like you did right there.
We mentioned in the pregame this struggles that the Georgetown offense has had this year, and get the numbers in a second here as Conor Nolan steps in. And he's going to bunt on his first pitch. He'll bunt it foul into the netting adjacent to the Tech dugout. So on the season, Georgia Tech averaging less than 3 runs per game. That's third to last in the country. 192 batting average as a team, also third to last. And they're second last in slugging. Really just been a struggle all season long, both in terms of generating contact and power. Here's the 0-1. Okuda's going to throw over to first base as Eze slides back in time. Now the good news for the Hoyas is that they get their best hitter, Nolan, who's in the box, the left-hander right now, hitting .323 on the year, by far the best on the team. Okuda going to throw over second time as the Georgetown dugout yells back. And he does get back. They're keeping a close eye on him, as he does have 3 steals, which leads the team. Georgia Tech as a team, perfect on the year, stealing bases. Here's the 0-1. It is grounded. This could be 2. The flip to second, and it's over the reach of Schobel, and it trickles into left field. The runners won't advance, but they will all be safe. That's going to be a throwing error on Nick Bitterson. He just went with that flip to Schobel over at shortstop, who was trying to cover the second base bag, but it was well beyond his reach, and that'll be marked down as an E4. Now first and second with 1 out for the Hoyas.
Hokies need to cut down on errors here. Can't allow the Hoyas to reach base, and as we were talking about, they're having enough trouble scoring runs as it is. You don't want to give them any kind of advantage here, especially early on. You need to make those outs when you can.
That was a rare misplay from the normally sure-handed Nick Bitterson, who really can play almost any position on the field, but right now they have him slotted at second base. And for Nick, that'll be a second error of the season. So here's Okuda pitching. Both runners are stealing on the pitch. It is bunted foul behind the plate by the cleanup hitter, Yereb Martinez.
Georgetown trying to manufacture runs right now. Showed a couple of bunts here already.
And just to give you some perspective on the struggles of this offense, having their third and fourth hitters in the lineup bunt on the first pitch is not something you really see in today's game anymore, but that's just what happens when you can't really generate lots of hits. Got to get them over any way you can. Here's the 0-1 from Okuda to Martinez, the second baseman, and it's in there on the outer half. Strike 1 called. Strike 2, rather. Okuda with that long look in, standing pretty tall on the plate. Or excuse me, on the mound, rather. 6'1" junior out of Gibsonia, Pennsylvania is Okuda. Looks back to second base, now kicks and delivers. And it's a swinging foul, bounces off the plate and over to the Hokies dugout. We'll do it again.
Just an idea of how much they've been struggling. Conor, with being their best hitter, is protected by a hitter that's batting 171 on the year. It's not something you like to see out of your number 4 hitter.
Here's the 0-2 pitch from Okuda. It's in there. Strike 3 called. Second K on the day for Ryan, and he will retire the Hoyas cleanup hitter Yereb Martinez on strikes. That'll bring up Andrew Chufo. 188 average on the year, the shortstop for Georgetown. Should also mention there's not a single player in this Hoyas lineup that has hit multiple home runs this season. They only have 5 as a team, and each of those 5 guys with 1 apiece. First pitch, it's well off the plate to Chufo. 1-0 to start the AB. Comes in at only 73 miles an hour on the off speed. Now the wind blowing out to right field this time. Okuda looks back to second base, and he will step off the rubber to keep Eze honest over there. Here's the 0-1, and it's off the plate this time.
Chufo, not alone in his family, very heavily baseball family, as his brother also plays baseball for Brown University.
Well, he is the team leader in RBIs, although he only has 9 on the season. Sophomore out of Medford, New York, and Patchogue Medford Phillips Academy. 2-0 from Okuda. It's going to be skied into right field. Gavin Cross has a beat on it. He backtracks and makes the grab for the third and final out of the inning. So the Hokies are able to avoid the damage after a single and a throwing error, and they get into this bottom of the first, having yielded no runs. We'll see what the Hokies offense can do in the bottom half of the inning as you are listening to 3304 Sports. To the bottom of the first we go. Leading things off for the Hokies will be Nick Bitterson, who, coming off of injury, has slumped a little bit, Brian, but had a pretty good day on Sunday against UVA.
He did, going 3 for 4 against UVA, and really looking to bounce back as what the Hokies really need. And hasn't played a ton of games, as you said, coming back from injury, but maybe starting to get into the groove of things and looking to get the Hokies started off in this one.
We certainly know the potential is there. Just trying to get that rhythm back coming off injury. Again, missed the first 24 games of the season. Facing off against the starting pitcher today for the Hoyas, Everett Catlett. First pitch is right down Broadway, strike one called. Catlett 0-1 on the season, has a 6.00 ERA.
And Bitterson, as you said, really just a versatile piece to this Tech offense and defense. Really can play anywhere from catcher to outfield.
Next one, a big swing and a miss from Bitterson. And he's quickly down 0-2. Not only does he play multiple defensive positions, but he also bats in different spots in the order. Sometimes you'll see him clean up, sometimes it's second. Today he gets the leadoff designation. As here's the 0-2 from Catlett. It's high and away, ball one.
That means everything to an offense, to just have someone that you can always rely on to be anywhere and everywhere that you need him to be, and that's really what he provides, and Hokies are going to be looking for him to get out of this slump that he's been in.
As he sees the 1-2 from Catlett, he will rope it high and foul down the right field line. Bitterson right now seeing career lows in terms of average on base and slugging percentage, but as we have discussed before, still trying to work his way back. We know what he's capable of, just a matter of putting it all together. And Coach Sheff earlier in the pregame talked about how important he is to this lineup. Here's the 1-2. He thought about swinging for just a moment, but managed to hold the bat back as it's a bouncer in the turf. Count even 2-2.
And to that end, he really, Coach John Sheff really didn't seem that worried about him, saying it had just been 16 games that he had been back, and they expected him to come back and be as good as he has been for them.
As we're going to have a pause. I think the pitcher Catlett was not happy with the ball as he bounced the last one, so he's going to ask for a new one. Looking back to his dugout, trying to tell him what was going on. All the Georgetown players on the top step, eagerly watching this game, and he's going to get another ball. So being a little bit picky is Everett Catlett.
Not happy with the balls or something. Maybe hit the turf, got a weird grip on it.
Well, you know, for a pitcher, grip is essentially everything. If you don't have the feel for it, you really can't throw what you want to. So he's back to the rubber, sets at the chest, winds, kicks, and delivers the 2-2 just down low. Georgetown dugout really wanted that call, and I'd have to say they have a pretty good case.
Yeah, it was a very close pitch there, but nonetheless, still a full count.
So the payoff pitch to Nick Bitterson, standing in the right-handed batter's box. Here's the 3-2. It is swung on and grounded sharply to the shortstop. Making the grab as Chufo throws over to first in time on a spectacular play right off the bat from Andrew Chufo going to his right.
Very nice play right there. That's what the Hoyas are going to need. If you don't have a big offense, you need to rely on pitching and defense to get you through games.
We should mention the problems with this Georgia Tech team so far, certainly not on the pitching staff. As a team, they have pitched to a 5.52 ERA this season, so not too bad. Certainly could use some improvement, but again, that's not the main issue with the Hoyas this year. Up steps Gavin Cross. First pitch, a skipper in the turf. It'll get to the backstop. Cross, 385 batting average on the year. That ranks third in the ACC and certainly one of the best figures nationally. He's come in as a COVID freshman and really done nothing but hit since day one.
Really has been a big part of this offense.
The 1-0 is going to be golfed out to right field, and that will drop just foul by a few feet, as Cross nearly had a double.
Cross was ACC Player of the Week a few weeks ago at the beginning of April, and had a cycle in that week as well, just when he was going on an absolute tear.
Unfortunately for him, that tear kind of ended over the weekend against UVA. Cross was just 1 for 10 with not a single run batted in. So really had a slump, a prolonged slump for the first time all season. As he's down in the count 0-2. The pitch from Catlett is going to be lined into center field. Going back is Conor Nolan, and he is going to make the diving catch. What a play from Conor Nolan. Going back to his right, he was at the warning track and laid out to get that one.
Two very fantastic plays from the Georgetown Hoyas here. Putting these Hokies down 1-2 so far.
Cross absolutely robbed of at least 2 bases. You figure if Nolan didn't get that one, it was certainly 2, if not 3. And again, Conor Nolan, a guy who has not played for the last 11 days. Previously, the last time he was in the lineup was April 25th. So he's back in action, and really him being in there saved at least 2 bases on the part of Gavin Cross. First pitch to Rumfield, down and in. As TJ steps up to the plate, the Hokies first baseman, .339 batting average on the season, 6 homers, 33 driven in.
Another one of those core young guys for the Hokies, a mainly freshman team that's really produced.
And the next one, a called strike, inner half.
Starting all 40 games so far this year and has really produced out of pretty much the 3, 4, 5 hole, depending on the day for the Hokies. Just been really consistent.
A guy that certainly brings a lot of power. Here's the 1-1. This one's down and in. Rumfield was born in Richmond, Virginia, but formerly of Texas Tech, decided to transfer from Lubbock to Blacksburg over the previous offseason, and certainly a fine addition for Coach Sheff and staff. Here's the 2-1 offering, and he takes a big cut and will sky it foul over towards the terraces behind the Hokies dugout.
And it does say freshman for him, but he's pretty much been a freshman for almost 3 years now, redshirting and then the COVID year. So he's still a freshman, but he has almost 3 years of experience broken up for the Hokies.
As he sees a 2-2 from Catlett, takes it. Thought about swinging for a moment, and it's in the turf. Now 3-2. Rumfield coming in with hits in 8 of his last 9 games, though interestingly only 2 RBIs in that time frame. So you'd think for a guy who hits at the 3 spot, he'd get a few more. Here's the payoff pitch to Rumfield, and he'll tap it foul.
In UVA, from that UVA series, we said that Cross had gone only 1 for 10. Rumfield here only going 2 for 12. Perhaps a reason why with the offense struggling so much, those middle guys, you really need them to cash in for wins, and they did not in that series.
We'll do it again. The full count offering from Catlett to Rumfield, and he will send one on a couple hops to the third baseman, Eddie McCabe. He fields it cleanly and throws over to first base in time. A 1-2-3, bottom of the first for Everett Catlett. No score in the first frame. We go to the top of the second with the Hokies and the Hoyas deadlocked at 0. Welcome back here to English Field. We go top of the second from Blacksburg, leading off as Georgetown goes 6, 7, and 8 in their order. Christian Ficka, the first baseman, the first hitter of the road half of the second, and the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Okuda threw 18 pitches in that first frame as he misses down with the next offering.
Just a freshman has started every game this year for Georgetown.
Next pitch, a high strike this time, 1-2. Ficka comes in with no hits in any of his last 4 games out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. And the 1-2 had to jump out of the way of that one as it was a 55-footer that bounced in. Got his feet up in time to avoid being plunked. Led Gonzaga College High School to a state title in 2017. And certainly comes from a very athletic family. His mother played volleyball at Georgetown. Here's the 2-2. It's in there. Strike 3 called on the inner half. And so far, Ryan Okuda with 3 strikeouts, 4 outs into the game.
Attacking hitters and getting strikeouts is exactly what Coach John Sheff is looking for out of Okuda here in these first couple of innings. Be very happy to see him continuing to strike out these hitters like this.
Tony Barreca, the catcher, steps to the plate. Nobody on here. 1 gone, top of the second. And a first pitch on the outer half this time, called strike 1. Really just hard to believe how many guys in this Georgetown lineup are hitting under 200. It's not something you see at this point in the season too often. A big wave and a miss there from Brecka, and he's down quickly 0-2.
As you said, and in today's lineup, it's their core hitters. It's their 5, 6, 7 hitters up to their 4th hitter.
And he swings and misses there. Tony Brecka now set down for the 13th consecutive time on strikeouts as he took a big cut, came up empty. 4 Ks now for Okuda.
Continuing to strike out these hitters.
Well, we said at the top of the broadcast it's a big opportunity for Okuda to gain some confidence against a lesser opponent. First pitch, this time a high strike call to Jake Hyde, the DH.
And he's certainly taking advantage of that right now. Working quick, too.
And the 0-1 is tapped softly to the shortstop, Tanner Schobel, who only has to come in a few paces to make that catch. So Ryan Okuda gets his team back into the dugout very quickly as we go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. Hokies looking to get the bats going here on 3304 Sports. Some ominous-looking clouds in the distance as we begin the home half of the second inning. No score between the Hokies and the Hoyas here from English Field. As Brian noted during the break, seems like a pretty slim chance of rain for today's contest, but that's certainly something to keep an eye on. So Tanner Schobel, the shortstop who made the catch to in the previous inning, will lead things off, bottom 2. And first offering from Catlett is a called strike down the middle.
This Tech team, a very young team. Most of their starting lineup, either freshmen or sophomores, the majority freshmen. Schobel is no different and has started every game this season and has meant a lot to them this year.
Curveball this time, can't find the zone. 17 pitches in that first inning for Catlett. He had some help from his defense. Diving catch in center by Conor Nolan. As well as a nice play at shortstop by Andrew Chufo. Here's a 1-1 offering and a swing and a miss on what looked to be a bit of an unsure swing there from Schobel. Kind of recognized it was tailing out of the zone at the very last second, but he did swing through. Now 1-2. Catlett standing tall on the mound. Gets the sign from his catcher, now kicks and fires. This one is a bouncer.
Catlett coming off a pretty good performance against GW last Tuesday for the Hoyas, going 4 innings and only giving up 1 earned run. Keeping the strikeouts down, though, only 2 Ks in that one.
Catlett standing at 6'7". Here's the 2-2. This one is well down. And at 6'7", that's not a height you normally see for a pitcher. Certainly not the college level. Kind of creates some interesting arm angles, so you figure the Hokies hitters are going to have to adjust to that. The right-hander out of Manassas, Virginia, Charles Colgan High School. Now he fires the 3-2. It is lined hard into left field and down for a base hit as it bounces on one hop in front of the left fielder A.J. Lotsis. And reaching for the first Hokies hit of the day is Tanner Schobel. So that'll bring up the other Tanner, Tanner Thomas, the left fielder, 277 on the year. Thomas seeing a career high this season in slugging percentage at .416, comes in riding a 4-game hitting streak. Had been in quite a slump before that, but seems to be finding his groove. Schobel the runner at first, nobody out here. Big swing and a miss from Tanner on that first offering. That one was 77 miles an hour on the off speed. Thomas, the 0-1, another big cut and a miss. He's looking for something fast, but he's not getting it so far, and his timing's just not quite right at the moment.
Had a kind of unusual start before coming to Tech. First, played 2 seasons at Tallahassee Community College and was able to get some good outings there and was able to get his way onto this Tech team.
The 0-2 grounded to the second baseman Martinez. He will make the sure out and flip over to first base in time. So advancing to second on the play is Schobel. And the Hokies now with a runner in scoring position after a productive out from Tanner Thomas.
Moving that runner over into scoring position with only one out now for the Hokies. Get a single somewhere even into the gap or even at someone but soft enough, you might be able to score that run and put this first run up on the board for them.
So Kevin Madden, the third baseman, is the hitter on the season, batting .310. One of the veteran mainstays in this Hokie lineup. A Virginia Tech team that has seen lots of roster turnover over the past couple seasons, but Madden has not been among them. He's been a starter since 2019, making his 106th career start. First offering to Kevin is going to be smacked into center field. Coming in on it is Nolan. Had to reach up to get it as he almost came in too far. And he gets it back in quickly for the second out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Catlett.
It's a big out for Catlett there. Now have 2 outs with that runner on second. Out there at second base. Hokies still have a chance to score, but it's a very big out for Catlett.
You certainly take 1 pitch out any day of the week. So here's Jack Hurley, the center fielder.
Hokies looking to not leave people out there on base. Really need to cash in when they can. If they want to bounce back from the poor offensive performance from last weekend.
First pitch to Hurley. It's down. Hurley comes in with hits and a hit by pitch in 2 consecutive games. He's been plunked 3 of his last 4 appearances. And you can figure why when he stands so close to the box. Here's the 1-0, a big swing and a miss. Almost swung himself out of his helmet.
And leading the wrong category for this offensive team, leading the team in strikeouts, has 51, which is 19 more than anybody else on this team. And that's not a category you want to be ahead in.
Indeed, it is not. Hurley with, well, he's top 25 in most strikeouts nationally with 51. About 30% of the time he fans. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hurley will tap it softly to second base. Coming in to his left and flipping over to first is Martinez. And quickly go down the Hokies after that leadoff single by Tanner Schobel. Nothing doing for the Tech offense. We're going top 3 here. Still scoreless from Blacksburg on 3304 Sports. Back here at English Field for the top of the third. Ryan Okuda back onto the hill for the Hokies as the first pitch skips in the turf, ball 1 to the third baseman, Eddie McCabe. McCabe, arguably one of Georgetown's most experienced hitters, as the next one is in there, strike 1 called. In his career, he has started 144 games. Actually, started the first 140 games of his career until missing a game against George Washington on April 28th, as there is a softly hit ground ball to Kevin Madden, waits for it, fields it, and throws over to Rumfield at first for the first out of the inning.
Very quick out there for Okuda. Only at 30 pitches through 2 1/3 innings, working pretty quick and on a low pitch count so far.
If he could spare the bullpen from much work tonight, that would be a big win for Coach Sheff and his staff. As now back to the top of the order go the Hoyas. A.J. Lotsis struck out swinging in the first inning, and the first one nearly hits him as he had to turn inside to avoid being hit by that one. Okuda shrugs his shoulders, kicks, and fires. This one is a called strike, upper half. Lotsis 246 on the season, which surprisingly is the second best average in this Georgetown lineup today. Next one misses just inside.
Lottis actually a graduate student, and in 2019 played 35 games, which is one of the most for this Georgetown offense.
Here's a 1-2. It's going to be lined hard and foul as Rumfield was patrolling the first baseline.
Providing that leadership for the Hoyas on the offensive side is Lottis. I mean, he's been around for a while, a graduate student now, probably due to that COVID year last year, not having to get a year counted against him.
Indeed, he has been with the team since 2017, so he used that COVID year to stay with the team another season, as he calls time. Leads the team in at-bats, runs, hits, total bases, and Unfortunately for him, hit by pitches. Here's the next one, and it stays high at 73 miles an hour, excuse me. Now it's 3-2. Payoff pitch to Lotsis, and he will tap one on the ground. Brumfield comes in to field it on 2 hops. Over at the first baseline, steps on the bag for the second out of the inning. So Michael Eze now steps to the plate. Bases empty. 2 outs here. Top of the third. No score from Blacksburg. Eze, first inning, had a hard hit single and ended up reaching second on that fielding error by Bitterson, but Hoyas stranded both runners. First pitch called strike, outer half.
Hoyas coming off getting swept by Seton Hall over the weekend, and Eze didn't help with an 0 for 8 last weekend.
He does come in scuffling. No hits his last 5 games. And he will smack this baseball into center field. Coming in to his left to make the grab is Jack Hurley, and he has it for out number 3. Another quick inning for Ryan Okuda, making quick work of the Hoyas in that frame. We'll see if the Hokies can get the bats going here as we go bottom third from English Field. The designated hitter, Cade Swisher, lead things off for Virginia Tech as we go bottom 3 from English Field at Atlantic Union Bank Park. Everett Catlett, the first pitch, is a cut and a miss on a ball tailing down in the turf, 0-1. Everett now with 31 pitches, 24 strikes. No strikeouts, no walks, 1 hit, and now 2+ innings of work. Swisher sees the 0-1 offering as the catcher, Brecka, tried to frame it, but the pitch was low and in. And home plate umpire Brendan Hinton not buying the call.
Both pitchers so far working pretty fast and low pitch counts, which is good for both of these bullpens to go deep into this game. And both coaches would love that.
Here's the 1-1. It's off the plate. And Swisher now ahead, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Getting the start here today after not starting in any of the games over the weekend. Only used as a pinch hitter and didn't get a hit that entire weekend.
Yeah, we saw Coach Sheff go with a bit of a lineup change across the board. A few tweaks to his 9. Swing and a miss there from Swisher on a ball tailing down. So now 2-2. What we saw, Fritz Ginther made the start at shortstop on Saturday night against UVA. First time he was in the lineup since April 2nd. So that kind of necessitated some shuffling. You saw Bitterson in center field and Schobel over at second. Today, a bit of a more normal lineup with Swisher back in there. Here's a 2-2. It is grounded sharply to the second baseman. He waits for it, fields, and throws to first. That was Yerub Martinez, retiring Cade Swisher, and the Hokies have 1 gone here, bottom of the third.
And as you said, since Bitterson has been back from injury, Ginther not getting the start as much, usually off the bench, and over the weekend, getting put back in, and that's what kind of screwed up the lineup over the weekend. Shuffling things around was Sheff.
Well, it worked on Saturday at least, but the other 2 games, really no offense generated by Tech. Laying down a bunt on the first pitch and bunting it foul is Garrick Ebel, the catcher. .250 hitter on the season in search of his first home run, has 2 RBIs on the year. Trying to find a way to get on board for Nick Bitterson. Top of the Hokies order coming up in just a moment. Ebel, the righty, sees the 0-1 pitch. It's a skipper in the turf, and it will bounce towards the backstop.
Only the 1 hit on either side, so pitchers getting it done, and the Hokies continuing to carry over a little bit of their offensive struggles, at least through this first 2 innings so far. Still plenty of time to turn that around.
Ebel making his 5th start of the season. He has played in 17 games now, the backup catcher. Next pitch, it's in there for a low strike. Tech dugout none too pleased with the call. But that'll make it a 1-2 count.
As you said, typically Ebel brought in later in games as a fielding substitute to give Leonard the last couple innings off and doesn't get a whole lot of at-bats.
And here's the 1-2 offering from Catlett. It's off the plate. and Ebel manages to work the count full. Well, if you didn't know anything about Everett, you'd think he's a pretty darn good pitcher. Watching these first couple innings, he's really made quick work of this Hokies lineup. Here's the payoff pitch to Garrett Ebel. Everett kicks and fires, and it is off the plate. Excuse me, that was a 2-2 pitch rather, so now the count is full. Ebel missing away these past couple offerings.
That last one, I would imagine, was not intentional, as it seemed to kind of get away from him there.
Certainly no reason to not go after the 9-hole hitter as Ebel will step out call time. Looked like he had something in his eye. Wasn't sure if he's maybe a little speck of dirt. Just wanted to take a moment to clear it out of there. Here's the payoff pitch to Ebel. As Everett fires, it is hit on the ground and through the hole, right past the reach of the third baseman McCabe to hardly hit for Chufo. And finding the gap in the infield is Garrett Ebel, his first hit of the contest.
A seeing eye single, as they say, just getting under the glove of the third baseman and the shortstop into that left field with only one out now, but getting the top of that lineup back up.
Indeed, Bitterson steps to the dish, grounded out to shortstop, first time up.
Oh, he's probably looking to capitalize here. Need to get that runner over if they can, any way they can.
Bitterson comes in with no home runs his last 11 games. It'd certainly be a nice time for one. As right-hander sees the first one from Everett. It gets off the glove of the catcher Barreca, and scooting over to second base is Ebel. So now runner in scoring position for Bitterson with one gone. And I would think they'd have to call that a wild pitch. You thought Barreca might have had a chance to get that one, but that was well off the plate, and it's just hard to really jump out and secure a pitch that was so far off.
And potentially a very costly mistake if the Hokies can do something with this one. Didn't have to do anything to get a runner over in scoring position with only one out.
So Catlett stands in, gets the sign, and he offers. This one is low. Bitterson ahead now 2-0, and you figure now with first base open, you don't really have to pitch too close to him. But the problem with that is you got Gavin Cross, TJ Rumfield, and Tanner Schobel, 2, 3, 4 would be the next up. So the 2-0 count to Nick Bitterson, and he will line one down the line in right. Is it fair? It is just foul by a few feet, as that one was hooking towards the right field corner. Giving chase was Michael Eze, but the ball just ran out of room.
Would have been a big hit there, and as you were saying, kind of a pick your poison type situation right here. Have to go after Bitterson with Cross and Rumfield, probably the two most dangerous hitters on this Hokie lineup.
Lefty on righty matchup here. Catlett stands in, has the sign. He will set at the chest, toes the rubber, looks back at second base, and now he will step off the mound and make sure Ebel scampers over back towards second. Ebel not a guy that really presents a ton of base running threat. He does not have a steal this season, so that might have been just a ploy for more time. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Bitterson. Kicks and fires, and it's an inside strike.
Even with Ebel potentially not being a base-stealing threat, if you can make the pitcher think about you at least, that's enough to distract him and maybe make him make a mistake, have that batter drive you in.
The 2-2 delivery. It's another bouncer, and going to third is Ebel. He will slide in, and he is safe. Boy, it looked like he was out there for a second. Georgetown might want to review, but the throw was fairly slow, and Ebel apparently looked like he was going to get beat by that throw, but he made a nice slide and evidently avoided the tag of the third baseman, McCabe.
Yeah, that throw beat him by a mile. He was diving in with the glove right there, so must have been a very nice slide to get around that one.
Yeah, we're trying to pull up a replay here, but when I first saw that throw, I thought Ebel was out by a mile. I guess the third base umpire, Tony Carrilli, thought that he managed to do a little swim move around the tag, but we'll see if that holds up on replay. Umpires will look it over and go down into the booth. Either way, very close, and with your power hitters coming up, I'm not sure if that's the move you necessarily wanted to make, trying to steal third with one out in the inning. Now, Ebel seemed like he thought he was safe initially, so that gives you some indication.
He made a nice diving in. He moved the hand back where that glove was. Perhaps maybe getting around the...
Yeah, he kind of swam around it with that left hand, kind of took the right one back and extended the left, and I do think he might have been safe.
He is. It's a very heads-up slide.
Certainly so, and for a catcher, it's nice to show off some hustle.
It looked as though maybe he thought that ball got away from the catcher more than it did. It bounced in the dirt, but maybe just trying to be aggressive.
The call is safe. So indeed, Ebel managed to avoid the tag, and he'll head in with a stolen base. Actually, no, they're going to call that one a wild pitch, so he was able to take third as the ball got away from Brecka.
Brecka did do a good job of keeping that ball in front of him and making that throw as close as it was.
So Bitterson now with one out, a runner at third. No score here, bottom of the third. Hokies looking for their first run of the contest. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Catlett. It is lined up the middle, making a diving stop is the shortstop. Chufo throws over to first base just in time for the out. A run will score, but a very productive out from Nick Bitterson. He gets the RBI, and the Hokies, for the first time today, have a run on the board. They lead 1-0.
And it looks like Coach Sheff coming out here to have the umpires talk and maybe take a look at that one, as that was a very close play.
By the naked eye, and again, we're up here in the booth, so we don't necessarily have the best vantage point. That looked like a bang bang play. I wasn't sure if it was safe or out, but certainly could have gone either way. Now, Bitterson is still staying on first, so that would tell me he thinks he's safe. Question is, do you have indisputable evidence to overturn the call?
That's two back-to-back plays, and as we were saying, that costly throwing error, the wild pitch by the pitcher allowed him to move over to second base and then eventually get over to third on the bouncer in front of the catcher. And then even if Bitterson is out here, still the run will score.
Certainly have to credit the sliding stop by Chufo over at short to go down, block that ball with his legs, and then get up and throw to first base quickly. An impressive play regardless of whether or not Bitterson is safe or out. As we have the replay here up on our computer screen, trying to see if we can tell. Yeah, that's bang bang. You'd have to slow it down just a bit. Again, usually what I look for when these types of plays is the reaction of the batter runner, because usually if he knows he's out, he'll usually walk away, but if he thinks he's safe, he'll kind of stay. So you can usually tell based on that. But again, you have to have indisputable evidence to overturn the call, and it looked to me like, watching the replay here, that Bitterson was out by just a hair.
Yeah, that throw just barely getting him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be out. So that call should stand.
Certainly not indisputable by any means. Indisputably safe, that is.
Well, regardless, a nice play of Bitterson hustling down the line quickly. Pretty overcast day here at English Field. We got some dark gray clouds in the distance, pretty much all around us, although it is moving in the direction away from us towards the east. We're here more towards the west side of campus. And the umpires are still in the booth reviewing this one. I'm not sure why it's taking so long, because the angle we saw from the TV was pretty clear that Bitterson was thrown out. So unless they have an angle we don't have, I'm not really sure why this is taking so long. Catlett so far has thrown 47 pitches, 28 for strikes. No Ks, no walks, only 2 hits allowed. Unfortunately, what did him in this inning was those 2 wild pitches, which allowed Ebel to scoot over to third base.
And regardless of the review here, that run will still score. But it is a big difference between 1 out and 2 outs here.
Umpires are back on the field. The call is out, as we suspected. So give a nice play to Andrew Chufo, who has been very active over there at short today. And Gavin Cross steps to the box with 2 outs here. Nobody on in the bottom of the third. As we mentioned, Cross comes in slumping just a bit, although he did hit for the cycle against ETSU back on Tuesday, the first Tech player to do that since 2010. First pitch, a called strike down the inner half. Cross not a big fan of the call. And he was batting .400 was Cross for a brief period in time, but that slump, and we just mentioned, has brought him down to .385. Next one skips off the mitt of the catcher Barreca and trickles to the backstop.
And looking at these 2 lineups, if you look at Georgetown, a majority of their players batting under 200. And if you look at Virginia Tech, not a single person under 200.
But you would not know that having watched this game. It's been pretty even thus far. Here's 1-1 pitch to Cross, and he'll see it in all the way as it tails down. 77 miles an hour of the off speed.
Yeah, as you said, Catlett, to his credit, has done a very good job of shutting down this potent offense. So you got to tip your cap to him, as he's done very well today.
Now Catlett will step off the mound, wipe his sweaty hand on his pants. Lefty-lefty matchup here. And the 2-1 pitch to Gavin Cross. It is swung on, grounded, a tough up by Chufo. Fields it, throws over to first base, and stretching to make the play is the first baseman Christian Ficca. He does so in time to set down Cross. So the Hokies get the first run of the game thanks to a couple wild pitches from Catlett as Ebel comes on to score from the RBI groundout by Nick Bitterson. Hokies with a 1-0 lead. We go top 4 here from Blacksburg. 3-4-5 go the Hoyas as we begin the top of the 4th inning here from Blacksburg. Virginia Tech with a 1-0 lead over Georgetown. Again, Shelton Moss alongside my partner Brian Kearney here with you for 3304 Sports. And Brian, we thought Ryan Okuda coming to this one had a chance to do pretty well, and that's been the case so far. He's made quick work of the Hoyas hitters.
Yes, he's been very quick, as you said. Only 38 pitches through these first 3 innings, 4 strikeouts already, and only 1 hit given up. So if he continues doing this, he will continue to dominate here.
The first pitch to Conor Nolan is a strike inside. Again, Nolan making his first appearance since April 25th. A much welcomed addition to this Georgetown lineup that has struggled for offense. Here's a ground ball deep in the hole at second, and Bitterson fumbled the ball off his glove, and it trickles off his leg. Not sure if they'll score that a hit or an error. I would think that might be an error on Nick Bitterson as he was coming into his right to make that play. So reaching is Nolan. And that'll be the third base runner of the contest for Georgetown.
It looks as though they've called that a single.
Well, that's certainly an interesting scoring decision. I thought that play looked pretty routine from our vantage point as they throw over to first to keep Nolan honest.
Yeah, he was playing back, but it should have come up on that ball and just grabbed it and thrown it over, but nonetheless.
There's a second baseman, Martinez, attempting to bunt, and he fouls it back to the screen.
Second time we've seen the number 4 hole hitter bunt. So he did that back in the first inning, trying to get a run over, and is doing it again here.
I'd be interested to see over the past couple of years in Major League Baseball when the last time a cleanup hitter showed bunt, trying to get a runner over. It's just a rare occurrence in today's game. That's all based on power. Throw over again to first base. Nolan back in time.
And Madden responding over there at third base, moving in. case they potentially try it again.
Yeah, he is playing way in front of the lip of the grass. I should say the turf here on the infield. Here's the next pitch. And this time Martinez holds the bat back. It's well off the plate. Now 1-1. So 2 hits for both teams. Hokies do have 1 error. And really, I think that play by Bitterson was just a function of unfortunate positioning, as he really had to go quite a few paces to his right to make that play. Wasn't able to do so. Again, they throw over. And again, Nolan back in time. Nolan on the season, he is 3 for 3 stealing. And I mentioned before, Georgetown has not been thrown out on the base pass this season. Here's the 1-1, the bunt this time. Again, it's foul, and it actually goes over the screen and clangs off the facade of this press box here at Atlantic Union Bank Park.
Be interested to see if they have the bunt on here with 2 strikes.
And one thing you also wonder, Brian, is maybe Georgetown, it's difficult for them to bunt when you just haven't faced pitching like Tech has. I mean, playing in the Big East, not a conference really known for baseball, but this is pitching that they really haven't seen before, so that might make it harder to lay down a solid bunt. Here's the 1-2. The runner is going, swing and a miss. The throw to second base. It is not in time, so a stolen base for Conor Nolan. They get there under second, but set down on strikes is Yereb Martinez.
And it looked as though that was a hit and run as Martinez there, or as a, excuse me, it was Martinez. The swing there, swinging at a pitch way out of the strike zone to get that runner over the second base. You question what the decision was there. Must have been a hit and run, as normally you would not expect them to take a swing at something quite that far out of the zone.
So make it 15-15 now for Georgetown as a team stealing bases. And for Nolan, it's his 4th swipe of the season. Okuda now steps off the mound. And now toes the rubber, setting at the chest. He will kick and fire the first offering to Andrew Chufo, the shortstop. It's well off the plate.
Looking for big out number 2 is Okuda here with that runner out on second base.
It is Nolan at second. 1 gone here, top 4th. Okuda 5 Ks so far. Here's a 1-0. This one it's high and away. Chufo with 1 homer, 9 RBIs on the season. Mentioned before, no one in this Georgetown lineup has multiple home runs. And barely any guys with multiple extra base hits. Not a team that hits for power. The 2-0, it's in there, strike 1 called.
Batting just .250 with runners in scoring position this year. It's not going to get it done if you want to win games. You really need to hit as well as you can with those runners on second and third.
Although that's actually better than their team average of 192. Here's the 2-1. It's line foul right behind the plate. It clangs off the backstop.
Perhaps some of their big issue with scoring runs, then, as you just said, if you're batting below 200 with runners in scoring position, you are not going to win games.
And again, keep in mind, this is only the 18th game of the season for Georgetown rather. So they're still maybe trying to find their groove. For them, it's almost like being in early March compared to where most teams are. The pitch, 2-2, is grounded to Kevin Madden. He waits for it on 2 hops and fires a bullet over to first base in time to nab the speedy Andrew Chufo.
Big out number 2 for Okuda, keeping that runner on second base.
It brings up Christian Ficca. First baseman, struck out looking back in the second inning. So Nolan has to stay put at second. Ficca, a guy with talent all throughout his family. Comes from a family of athletes. First pitch, wave and a miss. His mother played volleyball at Georgetown, and his father David and uncles William and Ray played football for the Hoyas. And I also did some research, found out that his great uncle Dan played football at USC and then was drafted into the NFL, played for the New York Jets for 4 seasons as an offensive guard. So again, athleticism in the lineage. Next one misses off the plate, and 1-1. Ficca out of Chevy Chase, Maryland, the freshman from Gonzaga College High School. And he will step out of the box and call time as he had to adjust his shoulder strap. The lights are on here at English Field. Wind blowing out softly to center. Here's a 1-1 offering from Okuda. It's another 50-footer in the turf, and it's ball 2. Georgetown and Virginia Tech, 2 former Big East rivals, played in the same conference for 5 years, back before Tech joined the ACC. Here's a 2-1, tapped behind the plate foul.
The last matchup between these two was back in 2004. Hokies currently leading the overall series 9-6, and Hokies actually winning 9 of the last 10, but as that last matchup was almost 2 decades ago, doesn't mean a whole lot coming into this one.
Here's the offering, swing and a miss. Going to his knees to try to get the pitch was Ficca, but it came up empty. The 6th strikeout on the day for Okuda, and he gets his team back into the dugout for the home half of the 4th. Hokies lead it 1-0, looking for some more offense when we come back on 3304 Sports. Virginia Tech leads Georgetown by the slimmest of margins, 1-0, as we begin the home half of the 4th inning. TJ Rumfield will get things going in this one. First baseman, 0 for 1 on the day. Back in the 1st inning, grounded out to 3rd base. Hitting .337 on the season is the transfer from Texas Tech as he steps to the box, a lefty-on-lefty matchup to begin the bottom of the 4th. That first offering is inside. Ball 1 to start the AB.
As it is getting darker and darker here with the clouds covering more and more.
Indeed it is. Also getting a bit chillier. Next one misses off the plate. Temperature right now, to the best of my knowledge, about 59 degrees. 77% humidity on this Wednesday evening. Next one to Rumfield. Sails down and in. And right off the bat, it's a 3-0 count. Wonder if Catlett just doesn't want to mess with this guy and might give him a free pass to start off the inning. Already down 3-0. And this one will be grounded to second base, so you might as well go right after him because you got the ground ball. And making the play is the Arab Martinez. So on a 3-0 count, Rumfield unfortunately grounds out to second and the first out of the inning.
Maybe looking to jump on a fastball in those 3-0 counts. It's 2 different philosophies. You either take all the way expecting a walk or just a strike and then going there from 3-1, or you swing away at 3-0 knowing you're probably going to get a fastball. And it looked like he tried to take advantage of that, but was unfortunate and grounded out.
First pitch to Tanner Schobel, the shortstop. It's down and away. And Hoagie's still looking for some insurance runs. He can never have enough, knowing the struggles of the bullpen. This one to Schobel. It is grounded sharply to short, making the play on a couple hops and throwing over to first base in time. A spectacular web gem from the shortstop, Andrew Chufo. He has been all over it at short.
The Hokies might as well not even hit balls over to that left-hand side, as he has just been making spectacular plays left and right today.
He has robbed Tech of at least a couple hits. And that'll bring up Tanner Thomas. Again, the Hokies have made good contact. They've generated some hard hit balls, but they just have not been able to get those lucky breaks. And that was kind of the case against UVA over the weekend. Georgia Tech, as Tanner Thomas swings and misses on the first offering, Georgetown really has shown off similar defensive prowess. So Thomas down 0-1 with 2 outs here. Base is empty, and he'll sky this one foul, reaching out off the end of the bat.
Thomas, one of the rare seniors in the starting lineup. The only senior in the starting lineup. No one above a sophomore except for him in this lineup. So providing that leadership today for the Hokies.
Here's the 0-2 rather. Swung on and missed on a pitch tailing down towards the turf, and Thomas quickly set down on strikes. So Catlett gets out of the inning, and the Hokies once again fail to score. They still lead 1-0. We go top five, from English Field at Atlantic Union Bank Park. To the top of the fifth we go here on 3304 Sports. Hoyas trailing the Hokies 1-0. And leading things off for Georgetown is the catcher Tony Barreca. Struck out swinging back in the second inning. One of 6 strikeouts on the day for Ryan Okuda, who is still on the mound now with 54 pitches, 37 strikes. The junior makes his first offering, and it's tapped foul down the left field side.
Okuda really been dealing so far, only giving up 2 hits and done it in a pretty efficient fashion.
Next one is just off the plate. They appealed to the first base umpire, Greg Howard, to see if Barreca went around. He did not, so it is a 1-1 count now.
Okuda has really provided leadership for this young team, being the junior out of the pen, kind of pitching wherever Chef needs him, out of the bullpen or making starts.
The next one catches the bottom half as Barreca will step out to call time. Three RBIs on the season for the Georgetown catcher. Here's the 1-2. It is swung on and missed on a pitch, tailing away. And now 7 strikeouts for Ryan Okuda.
Not normally a strikeout throwing pitcher, so this is rather unusual, but he's been very dominant today, so just capitalizing on that and getting outs where he can.
First pitch, a called strike to the 8-hole hitter Jake Hyde, the DH today. And he's looking for his first RBI in the season. Lined out softly to shortstop. First time up. Next one. This time catches the upper portion of the zone, and he's quickly ahead 0-2. This is really what you wanted to see if you're Coach Sheff and pitching coach Ryan Fecto. Okuda working ahead quickly and getting called strikes to start off the at-bat. This one fouled off the netting, and we'll do it again.
We've talked a lot about the pitch count, only 61 pitches, but the even more important thing, 43 of those pitches have been strikes, which you always want that strike to balls thrown percentage to be really high.
Here's the 0-2 from Okuda, another one tapped foul to the screen. So Jake Hyde manages to stay alive. In Georgetown this season, they've played 17 games. A couple of those have been canceled due to COVID concerns, so it's been a bit of a ricky schedule. Here is a swing and a miss on a pitch, tailing down and in. It was foul tipped into the mitt of the catcher Ebel, and another K for Okuda, 2 straight to start this inning, and now 8 on the evening.
Number 4, Eddie McCabe.
So here's Eddie McCabe, third baseman. First one bounces in the turf. McCabe 0 for 1 today, grounded out to third base, first time up. This one is a high strike called. McCabe making his 145th career start today. Leads the team in walks. Only has 2 RBIs this season, batting in that 9 spot. And he'll chop one foul down third base side. Really scuffling at the plate for the most part. Has the lowest batting average and slugging percentage of his career this season. But he certainly has talent. He was a 2019 All-Big East first-team selection. Started all 56 games that year with a .345 batting average. And he will line this one foul into the screen to the right side.
In that same year, he led the team in average on-base percentage and then ranked second in home runs and RBIs. So had a really good year back in 2019.
Just hasn't really found his confidence at plate yet this season. Here's the next pitch. It's a high chopper to short. Schobel fields it on a tough hop, throws a bouncer to Rumfield. Unable to corral the ball is TJ at first base. And reaching with a infield hit is Eddie McCabe. And he'll bring it back to the top of the order.
Would have been a very difficult play, but a nice play as that ball bounced really high on Schobel, who made a good effort to get it over there, but unfortunately was not able to come up with it over there at first Rumfield.
So they're actually going to give Schobel a throwing error on that play. So scratch that as far as a hit goes. Instead, call it a E6. Second win for the Hokies today. And throw it back over. That's kind of a tough play to make. I guess you could call it routine, but Schobel really had to field it on a tough high hop there at the end. And then quickly make the throw because McCabe has decent speed over there.
Yeah, I would agree. That was a tough play.
Here's A.J. Lotsis. The lefty will ground one sharply. A diving stop by Nick Bitterson. Gets up, throws over to first base in time. Nick Bitterson flashing off the leather. He's done it at the plate and in the field today for Tech. So we will go to the bottom of the 5th. Hokies looking for some insurance runs here on 3304 Sports.
Hello and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia on this cloudy afternoon going on to evening here at English Field at Atlantic Union Bank Park as we are in the middle of a pitcher's duel going into the bottom of the 5th inning as Virginia Tech Hokies are currently up 1-0 on the Georgetown Hoyas. As coming up to the plate is number 26, Kevin Madden, the third baseman for the Hokies. And still out there is Everett Catlett for the Hoyas as that first pitch is an off-speed, off the outside corner, ruled a ball for 1-0. Catlett going into this 5th inning of work, only giving up 2 hits and 1 run and 1 K, but so far Akuda on the other side doing his job, and the 1 run has been the difference here. The second pitch is going to be a grounder to the shortstop. He's going to throw it on over to first base, and for the first out, that was Chufu over there at shortstop, who we've seen a lot here today, making some nice plays. That one was rather routine for him.
Yeah, another hard-hit ball, and Chufo right there to make the play. Hokies have squared some balls up tonight, but they just have not been able to really position them in the right spot to have them fall for hits. But certainly credit the Georgetown defense, which has been very active all night long, flashing the leather on numerous occasions tonight. And I really have to credit Catlett for the job he's done, really setting down this Tech lineup, facing off against an ACC team. This is pretty impressive work from the Georgetown starter.
That's coming up next. It's going to be number 31, Jack Hurley. As that first pitch is going to be in the dirt for balls 1-0. Hurley, the center fielder for the Hokies today, had a grounder in his last at-bat, 0-1 on the day. As Catlett looks in, the first pitch, he shows bunt. It's going to be a little grounder to the Catlett, picks it up, throws it on over the first base, and it's going to be safe. As he just beats it out as Hurley over there at first base made the nice bunt, put it in that little no man's land between third, the catcher, and the pitcher. Catlett picked it up and was unable to get him out.
Well, that was a really good play by Hurley, recognizing the defense was not expecting a bunt, laid one down, trying to generate offense any way you can. That was a good play because I don't think they were expecting that, and you force Catlett to have to come in and throw essentially across his backside. That's a tough play to make for any pitcher, but again, just a smart play by Hurley, recognizing the defense and the situation and getting aboard any way you can.
Absolutely, as Coming up next for the Hokies is number 11, Kate Swisher, as Catlett throws a bouncer over to first base. Was never close and could have gotten away there, but nice job by Fika over at first base. And as you said, Hurley batted leadoff for the Hokies for a majority of the year, so you know he's got some wheels, and that was a nice heads-up play for him.
Yeah, real tough to steal off a lefty, though.
So the first pitch of the at-bat is going to be a fastball out of the zone, up and away for a ball. Swisher taking the role as DH today for the Hokies, batting in the 8 hole, the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, and Hurley only has 2 steals on the season, but it's really more about the threat that he presents. Obviously, Georgetown knows he has good speed, so you want to keep him honest, as they do again.
As he threw it over there, as you just said, trying to keep him honest, keep him close over at first base. As Swisher is going to step back in here, and Everett looks in. From the stretch, he kicks and deals, and that's going to be a little bouncer. And taking second base is Hurley, being aggressive and making them think about it as they were, and as that ball got away, he got over to second base.
Yeah, another high IQ play there from Hurley. I hope for his sake they give him a stolen base because he was actually running before that pitch reached the catcher's glove. So I think they give him a stolen base there, but we'll see what the official ruling is.
It looks like they did give him the steal on that one. As coming out to talk to the pitcher Catlett is the coach for the Hoyas, George Kaplan, the pitching coach for him. And all of these coaches for the Hoyas, all first-year coaches. The head coach, Edwin Thompson, a first-year coach, and same with this pitching coach for the Hoyas. So a whole new coaching crew for them as they get in this weird year of 2021 and COVID and all the rest. Certainly trial by fire for them.
Yeah, you know, this is probably just a little bit of a pep talk here. I mean, obviously they want Catlett to be able to go a long way because their bullpen really not obviously quite as good as their starting pitching. But, you know, all things considered, facing off against an ACC team with a very good lineup, you know, 73rd highest batting average in the country. I mean, this is really impressive stuff so far from Catlett. But just, you know, trying to focus in here, get that off-speed stuff working, try to find the zone and throw some strikes.
With that runner now out there at second base, and the count 2-0. From the stretch is Catlett, as that pitch is going to be in the dirt for ball 3, as the count's going to move to 3-0 now to Kate Swisher.
So the question here is, do you mess around with Swisher knowing the threat that he presents? Obviously got first base open, but there's also nobody out one out in the inning. So, you know, obviously you're playing with fire if you try to get back to the top of the Hokies lineup.
The 3-0 is not even going to be close, and that's going to be a 4-pitch walk for Kate Swisher as he's going to move on over to first base, and now there are runners on first and second for the Hokies with only 1 out. And that may spell the end of the day for Everett, and it looks like it will, as George Kaplan's going to come out and talk to him and take the ball from him.
Well, certainly a very valiant performance from the Hoyas southpaw. The final line, 68 pitches, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk. Really, Brian, can't ask for much more against a very talented lineup like the Hokies have.
You really can't. That was an excellent performance out of him, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought they may write him out, but maybe not wanting this deficit to get any worse than it is, bringing your relief pitchers to try and shut the door in this jam with 2 runners on now. And it looks like it's going to be number 15 for Georgetown. And that is going to be Anthony Redfearn, the junior out of Andover, Massachusetts, coming in for relief to try and shut the door on the Hokies. Coming into this one, has a total of 6 innings pitched, a 6 ERA, giving up 4 runs and 5 strikeouts on the year. And in that game on Tuesday last week against George Washington for them, pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 run, and no walks and no Ks. So definitely can get the job done when you need him to, and that is exactly what Coach George Kappan will be looking out of from him.
Yeah, Redfearn, the junior, 6'2", out of Massachusetts, like you said, one of several righties in this Georgetown bullpen. They really don't have a ton of lefties, so it's really going to be mostly right-handers that you'll see. But he's one of their more frequently used guys, 6 appearances on the season, and obviously the even 6 ERA. Opponents hitting .217 against him. So we'll see what the Hokies can do. Obviously, facing off against a team like Georgetown, midweek game, non-conference opponents, so really Tech's hitters don't have a ton of information on these guys, so really it's kind of just see ball, hit ball, whatever they throw, you just got to be able to adjust and hit it. I think for Hokies right now, you'll see the guys in the dugout and on deck, just look what he has in the warm-up tosses and adjust your approach based on the at-bats you see happen in the game.
And as you said, only the 6 appearances on the season, but for them only playing in 17 games thus far. Obviously, like we said at the top of the broadcast, more like March for them instead of late April or early May now as it is for the Hokies, as they have played 40 games coming into this one. So we are getting ready to go as Greg Ebel, the catcher for the Hokies, going to step in here and the biggest spot so far in this game with 2 runners on and only 1 out. In the bottom of the 5th inning, the Hokies are currently up 1-0 against the Hoyas. As from the stretch, that first pitch is going to be ruled as strike for strike 1. As the count's now 0-1.
Certainly a big spot for Ebel. I mean, we got to remember this is still a 1-0 game, so with 2 runners on, only 1 out, this is a big opportunity to do some damage and get some insurance runs on the board.
From the stretch is Redfearn. The second pitch is going to be a grounder to the third baseman. It's going to eat him up, and he's going to throw it on over to first base and just get Ebel over at first base. But the 2 runners are going to move up to second and third. That was McCabe over there for Georgetown. Was unable to make the play, a possible double play ball if he had been able to come up with that cleanly.
Yeah, and that was a good play by him. I mean, obviously he bobbled it at first, but he recognized he had time. Obviously you can't get 2 on the bobble, but you can still get the out at first, and he took a deep breath and calmly threw over to first base to retire Ebel in time. So a good job of just sticking with the play and making sure you get that sure out at first base.
So a big out, number 2 for the Hoyas, but nonetheless there are runners on second and third with 2 outs as Nick Bitterson steps in for the first pitch. And that first pitch is going to be inside for a ball, 1-0. Bitterson looking to cash in here. Second baseman for the Hokies in his 3rd at-bat of the game. 2 ground outs so far and is 0-2 on the day.
Certainly the last thing you want to do is fall behind this guy.
1-0 is going to be hit foul down the right field line out of the stadium here at English Field.
Oh, yeah, that ball was hammered. You kind of see the power that Bitterson generates off his bat. Obviously not, a super big guy in the box, only standing at 5'10", but he has a lot of power in that swing.
The 1-1 is going to be a fly ball that's hit up, but might get out here behind home plate, and it is going to get out foul as the catcher had to look at it go into the net, but never had a shot as the count moves to 1-2 now. Big 1-2 pitch coming up with those runners on second and third. Hokies only up by 1, looking for some insurance runs. Redfearn from the stretch. He kicks and deals, and that's going to be fouled back into the net as Bitterson was right on that one, but was just a little bit under it, and it fouled back into the net.
Yeah, he kind of hit the nail in the head right there. I mean, he's seeing it well, and he's generating some hard contact, but he's just got to do a better job of squaring up that baseball and really get the barrel on the ball, so to speak.
As Redfearn looks in for the sign from the stretch, and he's going to step off, maybe buying some time, didn't like the call, or didn't like the pitch. He's going to step back on the rubber. Looking back in is Redfearn. Has the sign from the stretch. The 1-2 It's going to be an off-speed pitch that Bitterson tips into the glove for strike 3. And that is going to end the threat for the Hokies as they are unable to cash in with 2 runners in scoring position. And the score going into the top of the 6th inning is 1-0. You are listening to 33-4 Sports. Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, here at English Field at Atlantic Union Bank Park. As we move into this 6th inning, the score 1-0, Hokies versus the Hoyas. As still out there on the mound for the Hokies is Ryan Akuda, just being absolutely dominant here today. Only the 2 hits given up thus far. No earned runs, no walks, and 8 Ks for him as this first pitch is going to be a fastball in the outer half for a strike, 0-1. Up to bat right now for the Hoyas is Michael Aze, as the second pitch is going to be a little dribbler to the third baseman Madden, but that's going to get foul as the count is now 0-2. Akuda been working very fast today. Pitch count at 71 through 6 innings. Been very efficient, 52 strikeouts and the 8 Ks as mentioned before. So he's back on the rubber, ready to go for this 0-2 pitch to Michael Aze. Winds up, and the pitch is going to be a little dribbler right back to Akuda, but gets past him. Is coming in strong as Schobel and is not able to get the throw over to first base in time. As Aze is going to reach first base with an infield single. Schobel came moving in on that, but was just hit too softly for him to get it in time.
Yeah, he kind of stabbed at the ball with his glove hand. Just wasn't able to get it. Unfortunate bounce, kind of chopped off the mound, and really no chance there for Schobel. Just ball wasn't hit the right spot, took a bad hop. You just have to put it in your pocket and move on to the next hitter.
So the next batter for the Hoyas is going to be Conor Nolan out of the 3-hole for them. As Akuda's going to throw back over to first base, just making sure that Aze stays over at first. Connor, the center fielder for Georgetown, the best hitter so far for them this season, currently 1-2 on the day with a single. As the first pitch to him is not going to be there as Akuda throws back over to first base. Checking Aze over there at first. Looking back in now is Akuda with his arm hanging down, that left arm hanging down. Hunched in, almost Craig Kimbrell-esque with this first pitch. Is going to be a fastball inside for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, the Kimbrell comp is pretty good. I mean, he kind of really just bends down at the knees and kind of peers in to get that call from the catcher Ebel. Really sort of an unorthodox pre-pitching stance.
This is the 1-0. Is not going to be there as he throws back over to first. Is clearly they're a little worried over by Aze at first base.
Yeah, in this type of situation, obviously 1-run game, so you have to pay attention to the batter, or excuse me, the runner rather. I mean, if this were a 3 or 4 run game, you wouldn't have to pay as much care, but margin is too slim right now.
As the second pitch of the at-bat is going to be a liner, a little blooper into center field, and that's going to just drop in. As they're going to unable to get it was Hurley. Throws it back in there. It was a little blooper into center field, and he came on strong. The over at first, Aze held up, thinking it might get caught, and Hurley came in on strong, trying to throw it into second base, but had a little trouble with it, and in safe was Aze.
And that's just a tough break for the Hokies. Obviously, the bloop single falls in front of Hurley. Now, Hurley actually had a chance to throw out the runner Aze on the force out, but unfortunately bobbled the ball. So, you know, obviously for Georgetown, the hit was lucky, but for Hurley, that's a play that you really need to make out there in center. Just field the ball cleanly, get it in, and you can get the force out.
As a new hitter for Georgetown is going to be number 26, Patrick DeSalvo, and Coach John. Let me get the right name here.
Yeah, it's Ryan Fecto coming out to the mound.
Fecto, yeah, there we go.
Going to have a little bit of a chat with Okuda. Again, he's not getting hit hard. There's just a couple of bad breaks, tough singles, the infield single to start off the inning, and then bloop to center. So he's been pitching pretty well, just hasn't really been able to get the breaks in this inning.
Saw a similar thing in the last half inning with Catlett for the Hoyas. It's a couple bad breaks, got those runners over to first and second, and eventually they took Catlett out to try and close the door.
And the reality is, sometimes in the course of a 50-game baseball season, you're going to have hits that don't go your way, some bad breaks and unlucky bounces. That's just kind of how it goes. But for Tech, I think they just really have not been able to capitalize with those runners in scoring position offensively. And if they had been, it would be much less of a nerve-wracking type of game here with 2 runners on and nobody out.
As we said, number 26, Patrick DeSalvo, the pinch hitter for Yareb Martinez, coming in here with runners on first and second. As he shows bunts it to first base, as Akuda picks it back up and throws it over to first base just in time to get him out. But those runners are going to move up to second and third now with only 1 out.
Yeah, that was an absolute hand grenade from Okuda. I mean, he just kind of lofted that one pretty casually, but thankfully for him, he was able to get the out in time, but still a very close call.
Yep, saw Rumfield come in very strong there, almost moved his way over to the third base side as trying to chase that ball. And it looks like we may have a pitching change in very similar style to the last half inning with Georgetown, as that may spell the end of the day for Ryan Akuda.
Well, if it does, it's certainly a very good performance. I mean, 8 strikeouts, only walked a couple guys. I mean, this is a pretty solid outing from the Hokies junior pitcher.
And it is going to spell the end of the day for him as he's going to walk back in. And as you said, 5 1/3 innings, only 4 hits given up, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts, and just 76 pitches. A very strong performance out of him. And that is exactly what you want to see for Coach John Sheff. Hello and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia. As coming in for the Hokies is going to be Griffin Green, number 46, as Ryan Akuda just finished his day with a very strong outing. Runners on second and third with only 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. The Hokies looking to shut the door on Georgetown. As getting ready right now is Griffin Green. Did very well in the series against UVA. And as he's going to be looking for a repeat performance right here. As coming up next for Georgetown is going to be Andrew Chufu. And he is going to be looking to cash in here for them as he is currently 0-2 on the day. Stepping into the box is number 11, Andrew Chufu. And we are ready to go. So runners on second and third with only 1 out. Green from the stretch. Rumfield and Madden in on the corners. First pitch is going to be a swinging strike for strike 1 as Andrew just swung right through that one.
That was 83 miles an hour, and Chufo was way late for it, so that's it clearly was not anticipating that pitch.
As Madden and Rumfield on the corners continued to creep in here for the second pitch. He kicks and deals, and that is going to be a off-speed pitch up and away there at 83 miles an hour to move this count now to 1-1.
Obviously a big spot here. You got 2 runners in scoring position. If you can get this one unscathed, it'd be a big momentum boost for the next half inning.
Looking to get out of this one. The 1-1. It's going to be a little dribbler down the third base line, but that's going to get foul as the count is now 1-2. Chufu coming into this one with runners in scoring position, batting .235 on the year and batting .184 against right-handers specifically. Looking, if you're Green, looking to get a ground ball or something to get you out of this inning. Even a strikeout now with 1-2 here on this one. Green from the stretch. He kicks and deals. That's going to be an off-speed pitch for strike 3 as that went tailing out of the zone, and Chufu just swung right past it for out number 2.
You know, the thing is, when you're facing a lineup that just lacks any big threats offensively, it kind of feels like, the pitchers have more confidence. I mean, watching these battles, it doesn't seem like the Hokies are really routed at all because you kind of know the odds are always in your favor, and I think that's just kind of one of the benefits of, playing a team that just doesn't really present a ton of threat on the offensive side. You can just sort of relax and pitch your game, and Green got the strikeout in the first AB.
So the first pitch is going to be a fastball in the outer half for strike one to number 7, Christian Ficca. And as you said, never really felt rattled there as there are now 2 outs with those runners still in scoring position. But Green looked strong as he got ahead of this batter already 0-1. It's Green from the stretch. Kicks and deals. And that's going to be a fastball way outside of the zone for ball 1. 90 miles an hour on the radar gun there, but never was very close. As the corners, Madden and Rumfield have backed out now with 2 outs. Just need the 1 out to get them out of this half inning.
And Ficca 0 for 2 on the day with 2 Ks, so he's looking for that first contact.
The 1-1. It's going to be a little line drive down the left field line. Is that going to land? And it does, and that's going to be a run, maybe 2, as he rounds third base and is going to score. And into second base is Ficca. A huge 2-out, 2 RBI double for Christian Ficca now to move the Hoyas up 2-1 in the top of the 6th inning.
Well, unfortunately, I think I jinxed it for Tech because I just said he had to make contact, and right there he just sends a looping fly ball down the left field line, drops in about 15 or 20 feet to the right of the left field foul line, and manages to drive in a couple runs. So a big hit there from Ficca, and on the season now for him, that's going to be RBIs number 9 and 10, and now he's the team leader.
And it looks like Coach John Sheff went out to have a talk with home plate, and he brings all the umpires together here. Not sure what is happening.
Well, if they're trying to discuss whether that ball was fair or foul, that wasn't even close. I mean, that was 20 feet fair easily. So otherwise, I'm not sure what the conversation would be about.
I'm not either, as that ball was tailing, but as you said, was several feet inside the line and was a very, very big 2-out double. Not entirely sure, as immediately after that, after they scored, he came out of the dugout to have a talk with him, as now 2 umpires are going to walk over to that third base dugout to talk to Coach John Sheff. And another umpire is going to go over to Georgetown to explain what's happening. And it looks like all the umpires are returning to their positions. And whatever it was, they decided it was not warranted, as we are back. Oh, and they're going to throw it on over to third base. Oh, it perhaps was, they thought, running home, that he didn't touch the third base bag. So they just, Griffin Green threw it over to third base to check that, to see if he had, and you can appeal. And the home plate umpire said he was safe. But Coach John Sheff is going to have them review that.
Well, yeah, that is a call that I've not seen in a very long time, if ever. So that's going to be our, maybe 3rd or 4th review of the night. I mean, I guess he missing the bag. That's pretty hard to do. And that, if he did, that'd be a tough break for Georgetown, because he just, got a rare 2 runs against a very good team on the road. To have it called back because you missed the bag would be a really tough break.
Would be huge, and I wonder which person it was, either the first person or the second one, as that would matter, because if that first run was able to score, then you at least tie it up. And they are going to be taking a look at this.
Yeah, I might try to get it on our computer up here. I'd also wonder if the first guy missed. I mean, well, I guess it would have to be the second guy because they're checking over to third. But, I mean, like we said, every run in a game like this, every run is so consequential.
As Green is going to warm up as we wait for these umpires to take a look at this one, as we are trying to get a review of this. And they're going to come back out of the dugout, point to third, and call him safe.
Yeah, looking at the replay, that's just a really tough call to make when it's zoomed in so much. I mean, again, you have to have indisputable evidence to overturn it, and looking at here, I just don't know. Based on the camera angles we have, I don't know how you can overturn that at all. So, a nice strategy by Chef appealing to the third base umpire, Tony Carrilli. But, I mean, that's just a call you really can't overturn. And that's not something, honestly, that the umpires really look for because they're busy, checking to see if the ball is fair or foul, if the runner at home was safe, so they're not even really paying attention to that.
Definitely a hard call to make. And as you said, the review we had there was not enough evidence to turn over that call. So coming up to the plate is going to be number 22, Tony Barreca for the Hoyas. Runner out on second base. 2 runs home in this inning. In the stretch is Green. Kicks and deals for the first pitch is going to be a fastball in the outer half for strike 1 at 92 miles an hour for 0-1.
Well, still a big opportunity here for Green. I mean, you got a runner in scoring position, 2 outs. So, like I said, every run is so critical. I mean, you really want to get out here because if you can, that's a boost going into the dugout over on the third base side.
The second pitch of the at-bat is going to be an off-speed pitch down and in, but not able to catch the zone for 1-1 on this count. And as you said, still a very big at-bat here. Don't want to let this deficit get any worse than it already is. So need to close the door as Green from the stretch. The 1-1 is going to be another fastball in the outer half, and that's going to be a strike as well to move this count now to 1-2.
Certainly, I think some might question the decision to take Okuda out of the game because he had been, cruising for the most part, gave a couple cheap hits. But, I mean, it's one of those things where it's sort of hindsight is 20/20. You never know exactly what's going to happen. I think Green is a guy that's been pretty effective in that midweek role coming in relief for Tech.
As the 1-2 is going to be fouled back into the net to keep this count still at 1-2. And I would agree that it's a very hard call to make. And as we saw in the last half inning for the Hoyas, they did a very similar thing with their starter dealing, allowing a few runners on base and then taking him out. They were able to get out of that inning with no runs given up, and Green was 1 strike away from getting out of this one. So hindsight is indeed 20/20. It's the 1-2 is going to be a very close pitch on the inner half, but not ruled a strike by the home plate umpire as the count now moves to 2-2. Two outs here in the top of the 6th inning. As the clouds still hanging over the sky. It's a 2-2. Green from the stretch. Kicks and deals. And that's going to be an off-speed pitch for strike 3. As swinging right through it there was Tony Barreca for out number 3. Nonetheless, on the double, the Hoyas scored 2 runs in that top half of the inning. As going into the bottom of the 6th inning, the score is now 2-1. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Hello and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia. As we move into the bottom of the 6th inning, coming up for the Hokies is going to be Cross, Rumfield, and Schobel. As in the top half of that inning, the Georgia Tech Hoyas were able to score 2 runs on a 2-run, 2-out RBI double to put them up 2-1. And the Hokies now, who have been struggling on offense so far, need to put together a few runs as we're getting a little bit late here in this one.
Well, you're into the Georgetown bullpen, which obviously, as we know, has struggled a bit this season. So 2, 3, 4 coming up. You got to get some action going here.
As that first pitch is going to be a swinging strike by Gavin Cross. The count is now 0-1. And as you said, they struggled against their starter here, but coming into this one, into this half inning with Anthony Redfearn out there, so that second pitch is going to be fouled back out of the stadium for strike 2.
And it does seem that the sky is getting a little bit darker, a little bit chillier. Wind still blowing to center field. We got some There's very heavy rain clouds in the distance over to the east side of town. Don't think it's headed this way, though, so that's a good thing for this game.
As the 1-2 is going to be a fly ball out to right field. Under it is going to be Eze, but he's backing up, and that one might, and that one's going to hit the wall, and Cross is going to round second base. He's going into third, and he's going to hold up at third base. As that was a bit of a confusing play there, as both the center fielder, Nolan, and Eze went running after it, act as if they were under it, and it hit the net, or hit the wall, rather. And slow to get up is Nolan out in right center field.
Yeah, first priority obviously is the health of Nolan in center. I mean, he's a guy, like we said, he's coming back from injury, hadn't played since April 25th, and he just slammed into that wall going really head first on the warning track. I think he kind of lost track of where he was at the end there. Certainly hope he's okay. But for Gavin Cross, I mean, that ball was not hit super hard off the bat, but I think the wind was what carried that because you just saw Nolan going back and back and back, and the ball just wouldn't fall down. I mean, you know, based on the read that the outfielders had, that ball was maybe 50 or so feet from the warning track, but by the time that it landed, it was right at the warning track and ended up being a triple for Cross. Could have almost been an inside the park homer if the right fielder Eze wasn't able to get that ball in quicker. But that was a ball that really was a beneficiary of the strong winds today at English Field.
Absolutely, and if you look out there at center field, those three flags are blowing out to center field, so it must have just hung up in the wind, and it looks as though Nolan is going to be okay as the trainer and the coach come back to the first base side. And up next for the Hokies, now in a huge spot with Cross over there at third base, is TJ Rumfield, and this is the guy you want up to drive in that run. Now with nobody out at third base, Redfearn from the stretch. That first pitch is going to be a little foul ball to the left side, but popped out of play. Count now 0-1 with runner on third base and Gavin Cross.
Obviously, anything out of the infield will score a run. Anything hit to the right side on the ground will score a run. So lots of potential here for Rumfield.
The 0-1 is going to be a fastball out of the zone. Called a ball, now 1-1.
So the second baseman, Martinez, playing pretty deep over there, right outside the infield. Third baseman playing in.
The 1-1. It's going to be in the dirt, and unable to see it is the catcher, but was too much in front of him for Cross to think about going. Had a little trouble coming up with it was Barreca. It's the umpire now holding up his hands. Talk going on between the two, between Cross at third base and the umpire and the coach over there at third base. Looks like and Coach Chef is going to come out to talk to the home plate umpire. Hokies seem a little upset about something, although it's not like they called Cross out, and they are going to have the umpires talk now.
Well, we might have to text our old friend Evan Hughes to see what the conversation here is, because I wasn't really able to catch it. I mean, we've had several conventions between the umpires today.
My only thought is perhaps they thought the third baseman interfered with Cross over there at third base when he was thinking about going home, but it's unclear, as the umpires had a meeting but looked to be. So it looks like there is debate on whether or not that ball actually hit TJ Rumfield in the knee or in the shin.
Yeah, that must be it, because that was pretty close. I was surprised he didn't get hit by that ball.
But the umpires ruled that it was not, and the 2-1 is going to be a fastball out of the zone for 3-1 now. So count now 3-1 with Cross over there at third base. And Redfearn still out on the mound from the stretch. And that one's not even close. That's going to get away from the catcher, bouncing up and scoring is Gavin Cross. A huge wild pitch. Ball 4 for TJ Rumfield. As that one just flew right past the catcher, hit the little background here at English Field and popped up and hung up long enough for Cross to score. Now 2-2 in this one.
Yeah, I mean, for Rumfield, obviously disappointing you don't get the RBI, but you'll take a run any way you can get it. Third wild pitch of the day for the Georgetown pitching staff. Gavin Cross comes home to score, and just like that, the game is tied. So Hokies did what they needed to do. They got back in the game, tied it up, and now this is where you want the offense to sort of take over here.
As Schobel will step into the right-hander's batter's box, and over there at first base is now Rumfield with that walk. Still nobody out, and a run across here in this half inning. As there's a meeting with the catcher and Redfearn at home or at the mound, and it looks as though the pitching coach for the Hoyas, George Capman, is going to have a talk with Redfearn out there on the mound. And that is going to spell a pitching change for the Hoyas, as coming in now for them is going to be a new pitcher. We will take a quick break, and we will be back here shortly. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Hello, and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as the new pitcher for the Hoyas is going to be Chase Walter, number 32 for the Hoyas. So stepping in now is number 8, Tanner Schobel. There's a runner on first base in TJ Rumfield with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning, a run already across. So the first pitch of the at-bat is going to be a ball, an inside fastball there, as the count now moves to 1-0.
Seventh appearance of the season for Chase Walter, 3.00 ERA, 1.4 WHIP. 9 innings pitched, holding opposing batters to a 207 average.
As that first pitch is going to be a diving play by the shortstop, who throws it back over to first base, and that was a heck of a play by Chufu over at shortstop, who has just continued to flash the leather here today. That was a liner by Tanner Thomas that would have been a single, maybe a double, and he just made a diving play and tried to throw back to first base, but Rumfield able to get back.
I've been unbelievably impressed with the defensive play of Chufu today. I mean, just snared that liner out of the air. He's taken away, I would say, at least 3 hits from Tech today. You know, obviously, Hokies only have 2 runs, but a lot of that just because of the great defense that Georgetown has shown. I mean, they're really scoring balls up. You can't fault the effort, but just spectacular defense.
It really has been, as next for them is going to be Tanner Thomas. So that first pitch is going to be a strike. And excuse me, that last hitter was Tanner Schobel, not Tanner Thomas. So up for them is number 23, Tanner Thomas, as that first pitch was a strike. So the count's now 0-1 with 1 out, with Rumfield over at first base. So from the stretch is Walter. He kicks and deals, and that's going to be a 50-foot bouncer, and Rumfield's going to go to second base, and that throw's not even going to be close. Just got past the second baseman, but backing it up was the shortstop. So Rumfield will stay at second base. So the count is now 1-1 to the Hokies left fielder.
Always opportunistic on the base pass, and now again back in scoring position. So a single will drive you in. And right now Thomas has some space to work with on the right side.
What's holding him on is the shortstop Chufu, as Walter from the stretch. The 1-1 is going to be a liner down the left field line, but that's going to get out of play as the fans over there in the grass are going to converge on it and grab that one. So the count's now 1-2 with that runner on second base now. Madden currently standing in the on-deck circle. One, two. Walter bends down here from the stretch. The 1-2 is going to be a fastball that gets fouled out of play, and the count remains at 1-2. Chase Walter out there on the mound for the Hoyas has a bit of an unusual getting ready to pitch, if you will. Gets the pitch, looks in for the sign, and then bends down with his knees before getting back up into the stretch. Almost as if he's trying to touch the dirt with his hand. As he bends down and gets ready for this one. From the stretch, the 1-2. He kicks and deals. And that's going to be a foul off the end of the bat of Thomas, which just goes out of play on the left-hand side. Count remains at 1-2.
Thomas comes in trying to get a hit today. It'd give him a 5-game hitting streak. Had a 1-for-17 skate back from April 18th to 25th, so he's really seen the ball well lately.
So 1-2 is going to be a bouncer, another 50-foot bouncer that catcher can't find, and Rumfield was not looking there, and he's going to stay over at second base.
Well, I think if Rumfield had gotten a better secondary lead and really seen that ball off the mitt of the catcher and kind of, been more aware there instead of going back to second, he would have been able to steal third because it took Breck a while to really find where the ball was.
Having a little trouble with that today. A couple balls have gotten away from him where he hasn't really seen where they've gone. So the count is now 2-2 to Tanner Thomas. Walter bends down and in the stretch. He kicks and deals. And that's going to be another ball that gets away from Barreca as Rumfield's now going to move over to third base. As that is just a couple of pitches now that have gotten away from Barreca. The count is now 3-2.
Yeah, I would tend to think that's going to be a pass ball because the pitch was kind of off the plate and in, but for Barreca, you got to be able to handle that one, and that's the fourth time we've seen one today, either a wild pitch or a pass ball. No, they do call it a wild pitch, so I beg your pardon. That's it's going to be the fault of Walter.
Is now with a runner at third base and the whole infield in on that grass and dirt line. The 3-2 is going to be a little grounded to the right-hand side, but that is not going to get Rumfield in as he throws it on over to first base to get Thomas out.
Just a tough break there because you hit it right where the defender was, and making the play at second was Martinez. I mean, he really didn't even have to move there, but because he was playing in, that was what prevented Rumfield from being able to come in and score. So just, hit it to exactly the spot where you didn't want to.
Heads up call there by Georgetown to move everybody in and keep Rumfield from scoring, as you said. Is up next for the Hokies is going to be Kevin Madden. Looking to drive in this run, has to get at least a single now to drive in Rumfield at third base to give them the lead. The first pitch is going to be a bouncer, another bouncer that this time Barreca is able to stop. The count is now 1-0. Seen a lot of those 50-foot bouncers from Chase Walter already. And that is not what you want when you have a runner over there at third base and Barreca having a little bit of trouble hauling things in. The 1-0. It's going to get away above Madden, but Rumfield is going to stay at third as that was another ball that got away. That one over Madden's head that Barreca went to grab and it just popped out of his glove.
Yeah, almost took his head off there. I mean, had to duck out of the way of that one.
The count now 2-0. Rumfield, you think, got to be on your toes, is clearly having a lot of miscommunication between Barreca and Walter. Might be able to get home if another ball gets away. Madden now in prime position to knock home Rumfield as the count is now 2-0 from the stretch. It's going to be a little foul ball on a check swing that got behind home plate as the count moves to 2-1. Count now 2-1. Walter looking to shut the door as the infield for Georgetown is back to its normal positions. The 2-1. Kicks and deals. And that's going to hit Madden on the arm as it looked to be an off-speed pitch that got away on the inner half and hits him in the arm. As Madden's going to move on over to first base. Runners on the corners now with 2 outs.
Yeah, Madden's certainly not happy about that one, but you got to figure that Walter was not trying to hit him there with, runner at third and 2 outs in the inning. You're trying to get out of the jam here. Just an unfortunate pitch, really, I think, a byproduct of not having that control in the off-speed. Just stayed up high and plunked him. So Hurley comes up now with a big spot, runners at the corners.
Runners on the corners with 2 outs, need a big 2-out RBI. And as you said, already had one pitch go over Madden's head earlier in the at-bat. So definitely not on purpose there. Just an off-speed pitch that got away from him. As Hurley, the lefty, standing on that left-hand side, looking to drive in these Hokies lead run. As thrown over to first base is Walter. Bounce over to first base, but back is Madden. Bit of a brave throw over there. That runner at third base. You think maybe just checking, but threw it over there nonetheless. Runners on the corners now. First pitch to Hurley. It's going to be lined to right field. That's got a lot under it. That might have a chance that is going to be gone. A home run for Tanner Thomas, or Jack Hurley, excuse me. And that is a huge, huge 3-run home run as that ball just carried as he reaches home plate, and it is now hammer time in Blacksburg, and he slams that one down as that is a huge 3-run home run for Jack Hurley.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. Hurley, the lefty, facing off against the righty pitcher Walter, just launches that ball out to right center. It was gone right off the bat. The wind certainly helped it, but that was a moonshot and exactly what Tech needed in a tie game. 3-run homer. Now they are up by 3 runs and really finally got that big blast that they've been looking for all game long.
He's coming out to the mound, and that is going to spell the end of the day for Chase Walter. Came in looking to shut the door and was unable to. Is now with 2 outs in the bottom of this 6th inning. The Hokies have scored 4 runs in this inning to put themselves on top 5-2. We will be back shortly here on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as we just witnessed a huge home run from Jack Hurley to put the Hokies on top 5-2, scoring 4 runs in this inning, and that was a 3-run home run for Jack Hurley. As pitching now for the Hoyas is going to be Grisbinski for them, the lefty, as that first pitch is going to be a strike to Kate Swisher. It's going to be Jacob Grisbinski for them.
Swisher now the 7th man to bat in the inning, trying to extend it for Tech.
As that second pitch is going to be a ball. Very close pitch there, but the count is now 1-1. The lefty, Jacob, for the Hoyas, looking to come in and shut this one down. It's the 1-1. It's going to be a liner to left center field. That's got a lot under it, but under it is going to be the left fielder, Lotsis, for Georgetown, and mercifully this inning will come to a close for them. As through 6, it is 5-2 off the 3-run home run for Jack Hurley. Going into the top of the 7th inning, it'll be Georgetown up to bat. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Hello and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as we move into this top of the 7th inning. The Hokies currently up 5-2 off of the 3-run home run from Jack Hurley. A huge home run to put the Hokies on top, giving them that big power swing that they had needed for the past 2 games. As this first pitch is going to be a grounder to the shortstop Schobel, who's going to pick it up and throw it. Strong throw over to first base to run field and get the first out. A quick first out. Getting Jack Hyde there for the first out.
Always take a 1-pitch out, especially in the first batter of the inning. But, Brian, it felt like, in that last inning, the Hokies finally got that big hit they were looking for all game. It seemed like they were just on the cusp of it with runners in scoring position almost every inning. They just were able to cash in until that big monster hit by Hurley. So, like a pretty cathartic release of energy there from Hurley and the Hokies.
So this first pitch is going to be a fastball in the dirt, not even close for ball 1. Like you said, they had just been hitting it hard all game, but really unlucky. Nice plays by Georgetown, and then just balls hit right at people. So the second pitch is going to be a fastball for strike 1 as number 4, Eddie McCabe for Georgetown. It's the count to him is now 1-1 with Griffin Green out there for another inning of work. And that's going to be a fastball up and in for strike 2, 1-2. Hokies now bouncing back in that one to move this one to 5-2 as this 1-2 count is going to be an off-speed pitch that's not quite able to catch the corner there. Now 2-2.
Normally with a team like Georgetown at 4-13, you kind of figure, And based on that, you got bad hitting, bad pitching, but really their pitching hasn't been all that bad this season. I think the defense is really a large part of that. They flashed a leather several times today, just haven't really been able to get the offense going.
And that pitch is not going to be close to move this count now full 3-2 to the 9-hole hitter.
I mean, if it weren't for the Hoyas defense, this could be an 8-9-2 game, but those web gems they've had have really kept this a ball game.
Especially Chufu over there at short. The 3-2 is not going to be close. Another fastball outside for a walk to now bring up the top of the order for the Hoyas as A.J. Lottis is going to step up to the plate with 1 out. Like you said, Chufu over at shortstop, really flexing the leather, keeping this one close, and runner on now, top of the order. If you're Georgetown, you want to respond right here. So he calls time.
Lots of 0 for 3 today. Hoyas have gotten some production from the 2 and 3 spots, but not so for AJ.
The first pitch of the at-bat is going to be a strike right down Broadway to move this count to 0-1.
Yeah, and Ebel, the catcher, got a little bit lucky there because he dropped the ball. Normally, when a catcher drops a ball, that can really hurt your chances of getting the called strike. But it was such a good pitch anyway that I'm still called for 1.
Green from the stretch. Kicks and deals. And that's going to be a ball fouled back into the net for strike 2, 0-2. Hokies playing straight up here as the clouds are not the only thing making it dark now as the sun starts to dip behind here about 8:30 on this Wednesday evening. The 0-2 is going to be a fastball up and away for ball 1. You know, not a terrible strike there, or not a terrible pitch there with 2 strikes. Just trying to pitch something close, but wasn't really close.
Just a waste pitch there. Usually goes something down and in. Decided to go out. We'll see if he can come back here.
The 1-2 from Green. Kicks and deals. And that's going to be your down and in pitch that gets a little bit away from Ebel, but was not close to move the count now to 2-2.
Yeah, I think that pitch we saw there would have been a better one for 0-2, but you know, now you kind of have to buckle up with 2-2 and sort of go something inside here. I just feel like that waste pitch, they should have started off with the curveball in the turf. Instead, you got to sort of battle and try to get this out, count even.
The 2-2 pitch from Green. He kicks and deals. And that's going to be swung on and missed for A.J. Lottis for a strikeout, as now there are 2 outs in this inning with a runner over there on first base. So you can hear the dugout degenerates as they've been known, as they have come to be called here at English Field. Coming up next for the Georgetown Hoyas is Michael Azay. The first pitch. Kicks and deals, and that's going to be a foul ball back into the net for strike 1. That pitch at 85 miles an hour to Azay. Getting ahead there, 0-1 for Green. The 0-1. Kicks and deals, and that's going to be an off-speed pitch away. Not very close there, but count is now 1-1. Fans hear about what we had coming into this one. A lot of them sticking around for this close game between Georgia Tech Hokies and the Virginia Tech Hokies and the Georgetown Hoyas here. The 1-1. Green kicks and deals, and that's going to be a fastball inside for strike 2. A very nice pitch there. So the count is now 1-2.
Well, he's doing a good job of getting ahead of hitters in favorable counts, up 1-2. Just try to go with that put-away pitch and try to get your team back in the dugout.
With 2 outs, a runner on first base in the top of the 7th inning. The 1-2. Stealing it, and for strike 3, but that's going to end the inning there. To end this inning on 2 strikeouts And the Hokies coming back up to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's stretch time here in Blacksburg. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Hello and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as we move into the bottom of the 7th inning. Coming up to the plate for the Hokies is going to be the catcher, number 5, Greg Ebel, stepping in to face the left-hander, Jacob Grzybinski. Here's the first pitch to him is going to be a ball, a fastball out, up and away for ball 1.
Yeah, so right now you got Ebel coming up in the 9 spot, and then the 1 and 2 due up after that. So this is really the big opportunity for the Hokies to try to get some more insurance runs and kind of salt this game away.
So that first pitch is inside, or second pitch is going to be inside for ball 2, 2-0. And no insurance runs are enough. We got to be feeling good up 5-2 as this third pitch is going to be fouled back over the booth out of the stadium here at English Field. Count is now 2-1 to the 9-hole hitter for the Hokies. Kicks and deals, and that one is going to be outside for ball 3, 3-1 to Greg Ebel.
Looking at the box score, only 2 walks and 2 strikeouts for the Georgetown pitching staff, so really pitching to contact.
So that pitch is going to be ball 4 as a fairly pedestrian at bat there. Puts Ebel on to first base with nobody out. A quick walk with the top of the order for the Hokies coming up to bat.
Pedestrian is certainly a good word. He really hardly swung in that AB. Kind of just took his walk, and now with the leadoff runner on, you get back to the top of the order, and this is prime time to do some damage.
So up next for them is going to be number 24, Nick Bitterson, the second fielder for the Hokies. It's the first pitch. It's going to be an off-speed pitch down and in for ball 1. Maybe having a little bit of control issues here. It's only thrown 1 strike thus far to these 2 hitters. Working fast is number 30, Jacob Grzybinski here. The second pitch is going to be a swinging strike for Bitterson to move this count now to 1-1. Bitterson on the day 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Looking to cash in now. You would think he's due here in his 4th at bat. The 1-1 to Bitterson is going to be fouled back into the net on that one, but not able to get enough of the bat on it. The count moves to 1-2. Over there at first base is Greg Ebel. A decent lead, but they do not seem too concerned about him. It's the 1-2. As Ebel's going to second base, he slides, and they're going to call him out. As there was some confusion, the umpire looking for where the ball was, and they're going to call him out. Ebel trying to steal to get the Hokies into scoring position, but was unable to now.
Well, that was kind of an interesting play because I thought Ebel might have been tagged out on the initial slide, but then the shortstop kind of fell back a little bit and the call was delayed. So I'm wondering if the ump was just looking for the ball right there because Chufo over there at short might have had a tough time corralling it.
The 2-2 to Bitterson is going to be a fastball down and in, not very close as the count now moves full 3-2.
And on the season, you know, the Hokies are converting stolen bases around 65%, which is a little bit under what you would want. Ideally, you want to be around that 70-75 range, so it's been kind of tough on the base pass.
The 3-2 is going to be a ball hit high to the right fielder, Zay out there, who's under it, moves to his right, and makes the play for the second out of the inning.
And really, just like that, the threat kind of dissipates with the runner being thrown out on the base pass and Bitterson flying out the very next pitch. But again, I just think, you know, for the Hokies this year, they've run into a lot of outs on the bases, and that's something that really has to be cleaned up. We know that Coach Sheff gives his guys the green light to steal and run if they want to. They just haven't really, haven't really made good decisions in that department.
As up next, number 19, Gavin Cross, as that first pitch is going to be a strike. And as you said, it's good to be aggressive, but when you run into outs like that, you kill your momentum and you kill any chance you have on certain innings, and it can be a real killer. As the second pitch is going to be in the dirt for ball 1-1.
And honestly, in that situation, up by 3 runs, it's not the worst thing in the world. Had it been a tie game or a 1-run game, you probably don't want to be doing that. But, it's not the worst thing with a big lead.
So the 1-1 is going to be fouled to the right-hand side and out of play. It moves this one to 1-2. Cross stepping back in here. From the stretch, he kicks and deals. And that's going to be a half swing, but a full swing in the eyes of the umpire, and that's going to be ruled strike 3. And that is going to end the bottom of the 7th inning. The Hokies unable to score any runs, but got a hit there. As moving into the top of the 8th inning, it is 5-2, Virginia Tech Hokies. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as we move into the last 2 innings of this midweek matchup between the Virginia Tech Hokies and the Georgetown Hoyas, as the new pitcher for the Hokies is going to be left-hander Matthew Silvering.
Silvering out of Matthews, North Carolina, 6'4", 190, Charlotte Christian School, coming in. In relief as the first pitch is a ball down and in. One of the more frequently used relief pitchers on this Tech roster. Silvering making his 19th appearance on the season, 4.61 ERA.
As that second pitch is going to be a swinging strike for strike 1.
Really a guy that's got decent command, 31 Ks, 13 walks, and 274 batting average against.
So that third pitch, that 1-1, is going to be an off-speed pitch in the dirt for ball 2.
And he's a guy that can be used in a variety of roles.
So the 2-1 is going to be a fastball up and in, and did not look like Conor Nolan agreed with that one, 2-2.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's a pretty good case. I think that's a pitch that so far we've seen tonight has usually been called a ball. I don't think umpires really like that high strike.
It's the 2-2. It's going to be a 50-foot bouncer there for make this count go full 3-2. Silvering looking for his 32nd punch out of the season, and he gets it there for strike 3. A swinging strike for Conor Nolan to get the first out of the top of the 8th inning. Silvering looking to set these Georgetown Hoyas down 1-2-3. As up next for them is going to be Patrick DeSalvo, a pinch hitter who came in the middle of the game and moved over to second base. As Madden moves in from third base, as the first pitch to him is going to be a swinging strike back into the net.
You really see he's working quickly. He's getting ahead with those first pitch strikes, and that's all you ask for if you're pitching coach Ryan Fecteau. This is a welcome sight for the Hokies, who have struggled with bullpen performance for all season long, really.
The 0-1 to him is going to be a fastball up and a swinging strike from Patrick DeSalvo. Move this count now to 0-2.
Yeah, DeSalvo, the pinch hitter, he was way late coming in. You're seeing 86, which is pretty fast for a guy from the Big East.
So the 0-2 is going to be fastball, not really close there. Moves this count now to 1-2.
And I was doing some research beforehand. The Big East Conference actually has the lowest batting average in all of baseball among all the conferences, so not a hitting-oriented league, to say the least.
So the 1-2 is going to be a fastball that's drilled back into center field for a single. Hit very hard by Patrick DeSalvo there, and coming in was Hurley to grab that one and throw it back in.
Really good piece of hitting with 2 strikes. Just drove the ball out there to right center field. And Hurley, he had a beat on it, but I don't think that's a play you want to risk having the ball get past you. Just kind of let it drop in front with a 3-run lead. Again, play it safe and get it back in. Just hold him to a single.
As the man who's been flashing the glove today, Andrew Chufu, steps in for Georgetown. So first pitch to him is going to be a grounder to the second baseman, who takes it to himself and then gets him out at first base. Gets the double play for Bitterson. He got the ball, walked on over to second base, put his foot on it and threw it on over to first base for the easy double play there to end this inning. A very quick half inning for Matthew Silvering, as going into the bottom of the 8th, the Hokies are up 5-2. Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, here in this evening Wednesday game, as the sun has now completely set and black has set in here. The lights in full blast in English Field at Atlantic Union Bank Park, as we have a new pitcher for the Georgetown Hoyas, number 27, Carter Bosch, the junior out of McLean, Virginia. Stands at 6'2", 205 coming into this one. As up next for Virginia Tech is going to be the always dangerous number 7, TJ Rumfield. So the first pitch to him is going to hit him in the leg. And that is not how you want to start if you're Chris Bosch, as Rumfield's going to move on over to first base.
No, certainly not. And if you're Rumfield, you're obviously not too happy about getting hit. I think that got him right at the base of the foot there, so that certainly can't feel good. Might feel a little bit sore tomorrow, but I guess you'll just take getting on base any way you can. And Bosch, by the way, making his 6th appearance. He's actually a guy who's started 3 games this season, so he's come in to start and come in for relief this year. 4.30 ERA, 191 batting average against, so really good peripherals.
As up next for the Hokies is going to be Tanner Schobel, the shortstop. So the first pitch to him is going to be a fastball for strike 1 at 95 miles an hour. So he's got some heat on him. Out there is number 27 on the mound.
And with a 3-run lead, you're feeling pretty comfortable, but, you know, there's an old saying, there's never enough runs in college baseball, and you can never have enough insurance, of course. So if you can drive in something around here, that's always to your benefit. You just never know in this game.
The 0-1 is going to be a fastball off the corner for 1-1 now. So that one was at 94, so bring in the heat. And as you said, can start in the series last weekend, went 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, and 3 Ks against Seton Hall, as that pitch is going to be fouled back into the net for 1-2. Now in the bottom of the 8th, nobody out. Rumfield over there at first base. Hoyas playing straight up to Schobel. The 1-2 is going to be a bouncer in the dirt, but does a good job behind the plate as Barreca, keeping it in front of him, and Rumfield stays at first. The count is now 2-2. Bosch in his junior year of high school had a .17 ERA and 60 strikeouts through 41 innings. Absolutely dominant for him. As this 2-2 pitch is going to be a fastball away, close to the corner, but wasn't able to get there. 3-2 now.
Having an ERA under 1 at any level is unbelievably impressive. I mean, because that's over the course of 7 innings. So if you're only giving up .17 over 7, that's like almost nothing each inning.
It's the full count. Kicks and deals, and that's going to be a swinging strike. Blows it right by Schobel for the first out of this inning. That one reaching 95 miles an hour on the radar gun.
Yeah, I think Thomas was really late for that one. I mean, just wasn't really expecting that. You know, the thing is, it's tough for a hitter because if you come into this game expecting, you know, some pitches that don't have as much velocity as you normally would see an ACC team have. But when a guy comes in the 9th or the 8th rather and ramps up to 95, that's kind of hard to adjust to as a hitter.
And we saw the result right there as Tanner Thomas now steps in for the Hokies. The first pitch to him is going to be a fastball right on the corner, pop in the mid at 96 for 0-1.
I mean, at this point, if you can throw 96, you know, you really don't need to locate as sharply as you normally would with the pitch of lower velocity.
From the stretch, he kicks and deals, and that's going to be a fastball. Not able to reach the corner on that one now, 1-1.
I mean, it's kind of impressive, too, because you don't normally see 96 even at the Power 5 level. So for Georgetown, it's got to be a huge benefit to have Bosch come in and just throw absolute heat for an inning.
Absolutely, as now the count is 1-1 as Bosch looks in and steps off. Buying some time, and it looks like it looked as though they might call a balk on him, but decided not to as he steps back onto the rubber, looks back in to get ready to go. From the stretch, the 1-1 to Schobel is going to be a fastball away, not very close for a 2-1.
Well, looking at the stats here, I think the big problem for Bosch and the reason that he has a 4.3 ERA rather than something more microscopic is that he's walked 16 batters on the season in only 14 2/3 innings. So that's a really rough command. Only 16 Ks too.
This pitch is going to be another pitch away for now 3-1.
And honestly, that's probably the reason he's playing at Georgetown rather than, a school that's higher up in the baseball pecking order. He can throw 95, 96, really good velocity, but just doesn't have the command. And so that's really been the big issue.
It's the 3-1 to Thomas. He kicks and deals, and that, as we just talked about, is going to be a fastball that is not able to get the corner and walks Thomas to put runners on first and second.
Really what we're seeing from Bosch is just a steady diet of fastballs, absolutely nothing off speed. So that's what he's going to keep throwing to these Hokie hitters, and their job is just to lay off of it if it's outside the zone, and if it's inside, just take your best tack and see if you can come up with something big. And we know the Hokies love to feast on fastballs, so if he makes a mistake out over the middle of the plate, expect Madden to take big-time advantage because we know this guy hasn't popped.
That is now 17 walks on the season as Madden steps in to face Bosch. The first pitch is going to be a foul back out of here over us, out of play for strike one. And like you said, it doesn't matter. You don't need to pinpoint your pitches nearly as much, but you certainly need to get them in the strike zone, even if you're throwing this hard, and he's clearly having a little bit of trouble with that.
Well, that's also the problem with not having any reliable off-speed pitches.
This 0-1 is going to be, that one was an off-speed pitch, but that was not close as the count moves to 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, if you can work with the off-speed and locate that in the zone, it makes it much more easier to try to trick the hitters into chasing a fastball outside. But if you're throwing nothing but fastballs for the most part and you can't locate it, then that makes the job of a hitter so much easier.
It's the 1-1. It's going to be a fastball that time in the zone, and that is also fouled back over our heads out of play here at English Field. The count is now 1-2.
And that came in at 93. You can tell when the Hokies make contact, the ball is just exploding off the bat. So the question is, can they just get it on the barrel and square it up and hope to drive it?
That's what Madden will be looking to do with 2 runners on and 1 out. The 1-2. He kicks and deals, and that is going to be a fastball way out of the zone. 2-2. Madden already been hit by a pitch here today. Not going to be loving a inside fastball that's around 94 miles an hour.
I just mentioned the batting average for Bosch is 191 opposing hitters. That's what they're hitting. So you factor in 16 walks, now 17, plus 2 hit by pitches. That's a pretty solid OBP.
The 2-2 is going to be jammed him, but he hits that one back into the net as the count remains 2-2. With still only 1 out and those runners at first and second. Wouldn't be surprised to see Madden choke up a little bit here on the bat, try and get around on something going this fast and put it into the outfield if he can. The 2-2 as he steps back to check Rumfield over at second base, but nothing doing. Steps back onto the rubber. Madden back in the box. In the stretch, he kicks and deals. Oh, and that's going to hit him in the helmet. As Madden is not going to like that, as that is the second time he's been hit today. That one at 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, again, just really not having the control there, and that's always dangerous when you get hit up high. Thankfully, it appears that Madden's okay. I mean, that's obviously the primary concern, of course.
Not too happy about that one. See, he went down there, but those helmets protective as they are, looks to be more upset about the pitch location rather than hurt. So the trainers are just making sure that he's good. So the bases are now loaded for already one homer on the day, Jack Hurley. A 3-run bomb back in the 6th inning to put the Hokies on top 5-2. Now has bases loaded and a chance here to cash in some more.
I was doing some quick math on the computer, so you factor in the walks and the hit batters from Bosch. His on-base percentage allowed is right around 450. So, you compare that. That's why sometimes the batting average can be misleading, because it obviously doesn't include other ways of getting on base. And, that's why teams put such an emphasis on base percentage. So just the lack of control means that he really can't get guys out. And as you see, almost half the time they're getting on base.
As stepping in now for this first pitch of this bases-loaded situation is Jack Hurley. The first pitch is going to be a fastball up and in for a ball, 1-0. Really just been all over the place, as we talked about. He's now thrown 19 pitches, only 7 of which have been strikes, and that is just not a good ratio at all. As now the 1-0 to Hurley. He kicks and deals. It's going to be another fastball up and away. The count now moves to 2-0.
I think he's just throwing them so hard. It seems like he's throwing for speed rather than trying to aim the ball and get in the box. Just really not being in control of the situation here.
It'll be interesting to see if he lets off a little bit here with 2-0. The 2-0, he kicks and deals, and that one even further outside. His count now moves to 3-0 to Jack Hurley.
And if you're the Georgetown staff here and Coach Evan Thompson, I feel like might have to pull a plug after this batter if Hurley's able to reach, because this has just not been going good.
And there are people warming up out there in the bullpen for them. The 3-0 here is not even going to be close. Inside, and that is going to walk home a run.
Yeah, and that should be it for Bosch here.
I would imagine, as Rumfield is able to get on base and now goes all the way around. That is for Bosch. That was a hit by pitch, a strikeout, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a walk.
Not good.
Not good at all. As he is going to be replaced here with a new pitcher for Georgetown. As the bases remain loaded with 1 out, we will be back after a quick break. You are listening to 3304 Sports. Hello and welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia. My name is Brian Kearney. Alongside me is my partner, Shelton Moss. And going into this one, we have a bases-loaded situation with only 1 out and a new pitcher, Joe Nazzo, for Georgetown.
Nazzo, formerly of Princeton, transferred to Georgia Tech following last season. He was All-Ivy League second team in 2019. Out of Farmington, Connecticut, graduate student right-hander, 5'11", 200.
As number 11, Kate Swisher steps in for the first pitch, which is called a strike on the outer half. As the count now moves to 0-1.
Nazzo is actually making his 8th appearance on the season, which is, as it stands right now, the most on the team. But he's pitched to a 9 ERA, so been roughed up pretty good.
The 0-1 to Swisher. It's going to be, fouled into the dugout as everyone went ducking for their lives, but everyone seems okay down there.
You always got to have lightning-quick instincts when you're over there in the dugout, and that's why everybody's paying attention. Thankfully, they were, and they were able to duck out the way, no harm done.
Bases loaded, 0-2 to Kate Swisher here with only 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Looking in is Nazzo. He has it from the stretch. He kicks and deals, and that's going to be called strike 3 to Cade Swisher, and he goes down now 0 for 3 on the day. A called strike 3 there to him to now have 2 outs.
Pretty rare backwards K for Swisher. I mean, I thought that pitch was a little bit high, but Evidently not high enough in the jurisdiction of home plate umpire Brandon Hinson.
As up next for the Hokies is going to be number 5, Craig Ebel, the catcher out of the 9-hole. 2 outs with bases loaded. The score is 6-2 Hokies. The first pitch to him is going to be a fastball, little up and in, close pitch on that one. But nonetheless, the count is now up 1-0. Talking about the arm of Carter Bosch of the last one. That pitch right there from Joe Nazzo was 93 miles an hour, the 1-0. It's going to be hit hard to center field. Back under it is Nolan, though, and he's going to settle under it and make the play without having to move. And Georgetown is able to escape that situation with only 1 run given up. The Hokies now ahead 6-2 going into the top of this 9th inning, looking to close the door on Georgetown and get out of this one with a win. You're listening to 3304 Sports. It's the top of the 9th here in Blacksburg. The Hokies up 6-2 against the Hoyas, as the new pitcher for the Hokies is Graham Fearved, who's really come into prominence for them. Been used a lot recently as the first pitch to number 7, Christian Ficca, is called a ball. Fearved coming into this one with a 2.7 ERA and 16 2/3 innings pitched, as that second pitch is also going to be called a ball for 2-0 to Christian Ficca.
And Fearved's a guy that's been in a lot of high leverage situations for Tech this year, so this game is really nothing new to him.
So the 2-0 is going to be a swinging strike, blows it right by him for strike 1. So the count's now 2-1. So Fearved looks in. The 2-1 is going to be called a strike for 2-2 now, as Fearved evens this one up to Ficca. Hokies playing pretty much straight up, everyone on the back grass except for Madden, as the 2-2 is going to be fouled back into the net. The count remains at 2-2. Just looking to close the door. He's kind of become their almost default save person, as you said. Been used in a lot of high-pressure situations, so this is nothing new to him. As the 2-2 is going to be a fastball up and away that Ficca thought about but did not swing. They checked over at third base, and it was not called a swing, so the count moves 3-2.
Well, with 4-run lead, the last thing you want to do is walk a guy, so for Fearved, just got to go right after him.
3-2. It's going to be a swinging strike 3. It blows it right by Ficca for out number 1, as the Hokies are now 2 outs away from closing out this midweek matchup.
Yeah, came in right at 90 miles an hour, just blew it by him for the first out. And again, like we said, that's what you want to see from Fearved. Attack these hitters. Again, this is not a really deep lineup, so just go right after him. Don't really beat around the bush. Don't try to get him to chase. If you can attack him, you'll have success.
As up next for Georgetown is going to be number 17, Matt Stone, a pinch hitter. As the first pitch to him is going to be way up and in, so he had to kind of duck out of the way there. As the count moves to 1-0. Stone, the pinch hitter here, batting 167 on the year, 12 at-bats. And that second pitch is going to be a strike on the outer half to move this count now to 1-1.
Now, Fearved is actually a little similar to Bosch, who pitched the last inning, in that he's got a really good batting average against, only 161, but does struggle with command, 14 walks in 16 2/3 innings. Now, the difference is that he has better strikeout numbers, and as a result, the ERA is much lower.
So that's going to be, blew it right by him there, the 1-1. Now 1-2 on that inside fastball. Count, as I said, 1-2. 91 miles an hour on the radar gun as Stone steps back in. The 1-2 is going to be an off-speed pitch, a very close off-speed pitch there, but not having it was Stone, as the count now moves to 2-2.
Maybe trying to adjust the time a little bit, go off-speed, and maybe ramp up for a fastball.
The 2-2 fouls it back into the net. Working quick here is Fearved.
Yeah, and that's what he went to with the fastball again. So just trying to mess with the timing of the hitter.
Changing speeds is the key to success if you want to be successful. The 2-2 is going to be fastball swung on and missed for back-to-back Ks for Graham Fearved, as Matt Stone is set down And now there are 2 outs in the top of this 9th inning. And up next for Georgetown is going to be Jake Hyde.
So Hyde, the last chance here. And, I think this is kind of what we expected from Tech. They've really shut down this Georgetown lineup for the most part, and with the exception of those 2 runs in the 6th.
As that first pitch is going to be a fastball up and in for a ball, 1-0.
But really, other than the 2 errors, I mean, there's not much to complain about defensively. A couple of those hits were pretty cheap.
As that's going to be a swinging strike, actually ahead of that fastball to move this count to 1-1.
Yeah, maybe Hyde just trying to overcompensate, knowing that he struggles to get up to that fastball.
This 1-1 is going to be a fly ball out of left field. This should do it as Thomas is back under it, and makes the play for an easy out, number 3. A very pedestrian inning for Graham Fearbed to end this one for the Hokies, as they won this one 6-2. Had 5 hits and 2 errors. Georgetown 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. On the back of a very impressive start was Ryan Akuda. And Shelton, that was a very impressive start for both pitchers, but in the end it became a bullpen show for them.
It was, yeah. No, Akuda got things going for Tech. 5 1/3, 2 runs, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks, which was very key. I think overall Tech pretty much pitched to what you kind of expected, knowing that Georgetown obviously struggles to score. As a staff, Hokies with 15 strikeouts, only 1 walk, so the command numbers were really good, and really just kind of what you expected. It felt like Tech was really scratching through for the first 4 or 5 innings until they finally got that breakthrough 6th inning where Jack Hurley, hit the 3-run home run to really ice this game open. So overall, you beat a team that you were expected to beat, and you're moving on to Toledo next weekend.
Yeah, it was a good showing for them, and it was a good job by Everett Catlett to kind of shut down these Hokies there at the beginning. But as they moved in to the bullpen, the Hokies were able to cash in those runs. And as you said, Jack Hurley coming in with that very clutch home run to put them on top. The Hokies will be taking on I believe Toledo this weekend, looking to bounce back after that loss to UVA last weekend. Won this one now, and we'll be looking forward to that one, as 3304 Sports will have a call on that one as well. And that is going to do it for us tonight. As my name has been Brian Kearney, alongside me, my broadcast partner, Shelton Moss. We thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your night. This has been a production of 3304 Sports.